Hi friends, and welcome to Steak the Explorer, which doesn't quite have the same ring to it. Doing a REL Div 1 and Div 2A recap for Week 7. You may notice that I am currently alone. I do have an ogre friend, but the ogre friend is going to be silent, sadly. Shadorra is in Hawaii, like some sort of fancy person this week, who's abandoning me to my own devices. I don't know what I'm ever going to do. Although we did know about that ahead of time. Initially, the plan was to get Mr. Wrestleford Seabutter on here to join me. However, last minute he had something important come up, a family thing that he had to go deal with. And you know, I wasn't really able to find somebody to fill in last second, unfortunately. So it's just going to be me. I hope that's all right. I mean, we are real people with real lives, it turns out. So, you know, one week out of the 13 weeks being a little bit off is probably not... Why are you giving a cat to me? Would you like to join me? No. You can be my assistant. Tell me about Blood Bowl. Make better sounds. Hello. No, you're not gonna, like, offer insightful commentary and give me witty banter? No? Alright, well, I'll let you leave. I lost where I was. Oh, also, the next week, I won't be here, because I'll be away for a work thing. So unfortunately, there'll be 2 weeks in a row of maybe less than good recaps, but there's not much we can really do about that. This is a replay week, so we are going to, and by we, I mean me, or the collective we, perhaps, look at some games, one from REL 1 and one from REL 2A. I know what game I'm watching from REL 1, because somebody decided to tell me that it was an interesting game to watch. So, you know, if you tell me your games are interesting, I will probably watch them. Because it turns out I'm lazy, and this way I have to do less work. I don't actually have a game decided for 2A. In fact, we'll pick one when we get there. I've got one or two in mind that I thought would be useful. Namely, there's one that was a contentious pick. There's one that looks kind of interesting score-wise and stuff. So we'll see what I feel like when I get there. However, for now, we're going to jump into the game, and we will. I guess we don't really need the ogre, do we? We can just put this as one. There's just going to be me. That works. And as you can see in REL 1 here, we're going to be watching Travel Scrabble versus Ragedorf. I was told this was an interesting game, so I'd like to take a look at it. It certainly will be interesting. Ragedorf working on recovering. You know, they've got one or two like really powerful players: Swift Dwarf, Furious Dwarf, and then a whole bunch of sort of randoms. Travel Scrabble, you know, did really well last season, doing really well this season. Got some stat freaks of a Necro team, so it should be interesting to see what happens here. And normally I'd count down, but you know, there's no real reason to. Let's see, for inducements, I believe the dwarves have a babe, a wizard, and they've got Zara. Zara is especially interesting against the Necro team. I mean, most people take her for, you know, strength 4 blodge. The Dauntless is going to be utterly useless here. However, what's not useless is stab and stakes. If you're unaware, stakes, you add 1 to your armor roll for stab against any player it's any player that's playing for the Necro team. It doesn't have to be like a specific undead player. Basically, that means we're stabbing these ghouls like they're goblins, which is kind of cool. Nope, Hera Joker, you did not miss much other than me holding up my cat and apologizing for the fact that it's just going to be me this week because Shadorra is away in Hawaii and my replacement had to leave last minute. So I hope it's okay, me just being alone. So you'll have to bear with me a little bit, both in terms of like witty bants not necessarily being there, and I'm gonna have to make notes as we go through about scores and all that kind of stuff. All right, so the dwarves are set up. It's three idiots on the line, including the loner. And here we go. It's a high kick, very far off to the side. Elves or the Necro have got. They both had the Agi5 and the Ghoul available as potential ball carriers. Looks like he's trying to get that last level on the Ghoul with a Vanity Pass here, and he's lined up, take a couple dwarf hits, preferably with this Claw Mighty Blow here. I mean, I could fetch the cat again if you really want. Looks like we're going for Zara immediately with the Strength White and the assist from the Flesh Golem. Just a push. If you have any suggestions for matches from 2A, I'd be more than happy to accept them. I've got 1 or 2 in mind right now, but just watch whatever I feel like when we get there. All right, here's the zombie block. Oh, the cat is in the back. She's running away. She's doing the zoomy thing, you know, that cats do. Frenzy block. 1 die into a 3 die. Only finding pushes. Well, we got both downs too, but that's not good enough. And unless we do something to protect that wolf, he's actually kind of exposed here. Because we can either just blitz him, well, we can take a guard. Where's the guard? We don't have as much guard as we'd really like, do we? I say kind of exposed, but we need to put a guard in here. And then blitz him with like a strength 4. There's the vanity pass, so that's going to level that ghoul, which is something that Travel Scrabble is certainly pleased about. Oh, Zara can also just do it being strength 4. Is she blitz stabbing? Okay, I was going to say we could have taken like this, you could have taken this player and put him here and then blitzed with the strength 4 guy, or blitzed like as a block with Zara. He is blodged though, but if this guy was doing it, we've got tackle. No mighty blow. I don't know if I like the blitz stab. Yeah, the upside though is that this wolf knows to get out of there or it's going to get stabbed again. But it shouldn't be too hard. We'll be able to block off this dwarf pretty easily, I think, unless he... Nope, we get it both down, so he's not going to be able to get himself free. We'll be able to block off this dwarf pretty easily, and then ideally it's just a, 3+ dodge out with dodge, so 1 in 9. Probably don't want to blitz or block any of these things with the wolf and get yourself frenzy trapped. We're immediately going into like scrum mode, which normally sort of favors the dwarves, but the dwarves are in a position where they don't have as much guard as they'd like. And the guard that they do have is on a Troll Slayer and over here. So this like big old scrum is not actually going to result in the dwarves getting the favorable blocks they'd like. It's going to be a lot of Necro blocks. But we'll see. If the dwarves can reposition, this could turn out really good for the dwarves if they can get themselves in a good position here. Armor break from the Zombo on Oshadorf. Oshadorf, the like Occupational Safety Health Association or whatever. Wolf chain pushing zombie out to hit Zara. Zara's nice and alone now. Still don't knock over Zara. Wow, even greed reroll and we get 4 pushes. Zara is worth her inducement money so far, just eating up that blitz. And we have a free stab immediately on this wolf, and if that works, we can punch this flesh golem with the mighty blow piling on really easily as well. Nope, stab failure. Good job, stab. That was one of the ones that I wanted to watch, Holes, because that was the one that we had is the only contentious pick we had in the in 2A, but I did look at it, and I feel like it's not going to be the most exciting thing to watch. It's just Nurgle doing Nurgle things to orcs. You're welcome to join me if you'd like, Red Joker. I wouldn't mind having someone from the div to offer some insights. Yeah, I was looking at the stats and was like, oh, well, never mind. It's probably not that interesting. Yeah. I'm actually, while we're on this topic, I guess, I won't actually be here. See, this is the kind of good position I was talking about, by the way, is like, we get the Necro all kind of bunched up, and we get this line of dwarves. If they all had guard, this would be super annoying, but we don't have as much as we'd like. I won't be here next week because I have to travel for a work thing. However, I'll be in San Diego, which is kind of a nice place. If you happen to be in the San Diego area, I'd be more than happy to meet up for a beer with people. I will probably be doing... I did so with Dwiggy on 130 last time I went down there. That was a good time. Are we going to foul the Troll Slayer with the Dirty player? No, we're just going to mark him up. I like how we still just have the ball in the back. He's just not even bothering to come forward. Like, he's just, I'm just going to sit here. I'm an Agi 5, movement 8 wolf. I'll score in like 2 turns when I really want to. I'm just going to let the fighting happen, and maybe sometime I'll move up the field. Sorry. Don't worry about it. Isolating this guard mighty blow on a place where he's gonna have to uphill is certainly nice. It's not always good, like as you don't really want to trade more than one player for one, especially against dwarves. Ooh, there's the stab. Stab works this time? On a flesh golem, for that matter. And it's just the thick skull saves him though. Thick skull saves him. Was it the stab that done did it? It was. So the stakes that done did it. The stakes done did it. Here's the piling on. I like his foot. Nothing there. While trading 2 players for 1 isn't necessarily good when Ragedorf only has a minimal number of guard. Taking that guard out so you can assert your strength in the flesh golems is pretty big. Although the dwarves have done well here in they've removed one of the strength pieces for now for 2 turns essentially, and they've gotten themselves 2 guard pieces together. So now they're sort of doing that. They're 2 players for 3, as it were, because these guys aren't able to block anything. We might see some forward action soon. I like how the ball is still just down here. He hasn't gone anywhere. Uh-oh. That's a failed dodge. And tackle. Well, let's just turn this over. I was thinking he might start to potato this way, now that he's gotten the dwarves to this side of the pitch, but Ragedorf is good enough at dwarves to know that he's going to have to do something about this. He could also pretty easily blitz his way through with just a rando dwarf down here. And if he gets, you know, I mean, they're really slow, but he could get himself in a position where he could at least threaten the ball, and then it might force Unseen Walker to run, because he's not going to want to give the dwarf a 1 die on his ball, like, if he can help it. Dauntless does a thing, just a 2+ Dauntless, but we do get to Mighty Blow piling on this ghoul, and I imagine we pile on. We certainly do. Thump! Nothing. Zara doesn't have any stabbing to do, unfortunately. But she is strength 4 blodge. Yeah, going after the ball. I think I like this. Just putting a threat there so that he can't just... you've got to move forward now. You have no choice. And he's still got his strip ball runner ready to do something this way if he potatoes too hard. Keeping the safety down there. We've made Travel Scrabble commit to one side here. He's got 4 of his players just zombies doing nothing here now. They're basically out of the game because they're going to be too slow to reposition to this right side attack. And we've got the dwarves starting to surround the wolves here. We've got a runner that can come in from this way. We have Zara that's coming in from this way. With stakes, it's probably not actually that terrible of an idea to just blitz stab the ball carrier, because it's just an armor roll. You don't have to roll dice against the POWs, or you don't have to POW fish against the blodge player. And it doesn't matter how much guard there is in there. You can just run in and stab. Although, right now, that doesn't really matter, because we can probably 2-die with Zara. But I think, like, stab sacks is, 1, a weird sentence. I don't like saying stab sack. But 2, surprisingly hard to say. And 3, not as bad as you might think, especially when you have stakes, right? It's like stabbing armor 7, which is something that people are pretty willing to do. And when you're in situations where you can just ignore the guard that's surrounding the ball, it's not bad. Oh, the other thing is we can just blitz with the wrestle strip with a GFI or 2. Oh no! That was a really good opportunity for the dwarves, right? This no sure hands here means a double GFI 1-die with wrestle strip ball tackle. You know, anything but a skull puts the ball on the floor. Would have been pretty excellent. I think rolling 2 GFIs would have been worth that for sure. But we snake eye the GFI. Which is certainly unfortunate. So we roll 1, 1, 6, 6 are the You know, we rolled an average of, we rolled some average dice there. You know, they average out to an average number, 4.5 or whatever it is, 4. But 1166. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Thanks. But this is rough now for Ragedorf. With the Zara's down here, the Sacker is stunned. That's basically that having failed is basically the touchdown. There's nothing he can do to stop this now. He can like surf a zombie if he really wants to. I think it's going to be about damage at this point, more than anything else. It's going to be really hard to stop this touchdown now with him past your dwarves. Bonk. No surf. We're just going to hurt him. Well, KO, I guess that counts as hurting. We'll get the higher movement, higher agi, Mighty Blow guard piece at least available. We can punch this white as well with Mighty Blow piling on. We break armor. So be very surprised if we don't see a piling on here. There it is. Thunk. Nothing. Well, not getting to frenzy there because of the both downs. Another stun. Cat is just making scream sounds. Well, we can stall relatively easily here, I feel, as travel Scrabble. This dwarf positioning is pretty key though. He decides not to. I mean, you're giving a 2-turn attempt to the dwarves, but it's not exactly easy. The positioning of that blitzer was pretty key, right? It prevented him from being able to easily stall just by running out of the way. And he wasn't going to be able to get his wolf in a place where he wasn't offering up at least a 1-die. I don't think. I don't really remember the position, but I feel like you could have stalled there, but it would have been a little risky. And considering that the dwarf's return option here is a dwarf 2-turn, you know, you're not exactly too scared of that occurring. So you can throw some high strength stand firm on the sides, prevent them from running through. You're not likely to get counter scored against here. Just a little bit of a screen. Although we can surf this flesh golem because this troll slayer has juggernaut. You know, 1 assist here, and then we can troll slayer blitz him off the field. I mean, it means you're giving up your piling on mighty blow hit against an LOS, which might not necessarily be what you want, especially when we can also just like dodge Zara through, perhaps. I don't know. I kind of like, you could have surfed this flesh golem. And he might still do it. He's moved him away. We might still surf this flesh golem, and that gives you Hellsdorf and Zara as both receiving and scoring threats. It's not the worst plan. Well, I still have to finish this game, watch another game, and then do and then there's going to be predictions and all that nonsense if you want to get in on those. Or not, that's up to you, but I can get in the Discord channel. Let me make sure my push to talk is off. Yeah, so we do... Oh, well, we missed the important bit there. While I was doing that, he attempted to surf the flesh golem, as we expected, and then we failed the 2+ Dauntless to make it a 1-die, and then rolled a skull. So another set of 1s for Ragedorf. I feel like Ragedorf, like, it would not be 1-0 if Ragedorf could just stop rolling 1s. I mean, I'm probably going to be on for another. It's going to be like another hour at least. If you're willing to stay here and replace Shadorra, then that's sweet. If not, you can just come in for banter for a little bit, and then I can finish it off myself. Up to you. Cool. Well, feel free to join whenever. Perhaps after this turn, so that you start fresh for the second half. Incoming foul on that Troll Slayer after the failed surf attempt, and the Troll Slayer just stunned. At least the Troll Slayer is okay. That's something we can be pleased about. After failing to take advantage of what is probably a mistake in positioning the Flesh Golem, forgetting about Juggernaut. But a lot of people do forget about Juggernaut. It turns out it's not that common. Is this a blitz stab on armor 9? It sure is. I forgot dwarves could take Zara. Like, that's not a thing you think about very often. Well, we try Vanity Pass and we get another 1. But we do re-roll it. And we get a 1 on the catch because Rage Dwarf cannot roll dice. You've got 2 jugs now? I have 1. It's just, like, on most teams, it tends to be the,
Hey.
Hello. Where was I? On most teams, like, it tends to be a skill that you take fairly late in development. Like, not a lot of teams or players will take Juggernaut early. I am about to start the second half of Scooby and the Gang and Rage Dwarf if you want to load up the replay, or if you just want to watch the stream, that's up to you.
I think I'll just watch it on delay, I guess.
Okay.
It'll be fine.
Well, there is a slight delay, but
yeah.
Okay. Well, then I will play. So now we're going to go into Rage Dwarf's half. With slightly fewer 1s, I feel like that could have very easily ended 0-0 for Rage Dwarf instead of the 1-0 that it did.
That was rough.
Yeah. Yeah, Jugs is often a legendary skill for like Pestigors or Beastmen or what have you. For something like Orcs or Dwarves where they don't really get mutation access, you'll see it as like a 5th skill maybe, but like in any case, it's really good. It's just, it turns out things like Mighty Blow and Piling On and Stand Firm and Guard are better.
I've seen people take it earlier on a Witch Elf.
Yeah, with Frenzy in like base, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And when I played Blood Bowl 1 very briefly, I took it very early on my like Corn team.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, another 1 for Raysdorf. Failing the catch. Oh boy. Yeah, things going pretty well for you in Div 1 so far.
Yeah, my game against Rage Dwarf, he also didn't get the best dice in the world.
4-2-1.
Pretty happy considering I started the season 0-2-1.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with mine as well. I'm 3-2-2 currently, but all of the matches I've played are against the people already higher than me in the standings. Like, I've already played you, I've already played Tessa, I've already played Atomics, I've already played Archangel, and I've already played Travel Scrabble. So there are no like 6-point swing possible things for me anymore. Like, I can't lose to someone who's higher than me. And a lot
you just have to hope people draw out.
Yeah, well, and a lot of those people like have to play each other still. So like there's a lot of chances for me to make up ground there. Because either they'll draw or one of them will win, and either way I make up 3 points on someone as long as I keep winning.
I've played all the top people except Arc. The Wood Elves.
Yeah.
Oh man, so he zombie dodges.
Easy.
So if you're Rage Dwarf here, you have a wizard. Are you gonna go for the draw? What's he at in the standings?
That's a good question. I don't remember off the top of my head. I can certainly look though. He is currently second last with 1, 2, and 3. So
okay, so
you might as well go for. You can either go for the win or just go for development. It depends on how stuck you're feeling.
I guess for dwarves, wins and development, it's all kind of the same. They just punch and score, try and score.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what you try to do is score as early as possible here, and then try to use the wizard to turn over. The non-ideal situation is having to use the wizard to score, but he's also carrying on his rookie runner because he'd love to get him a level, so he's not going all out in the score now sort of plan. But
that just reminded me that I've got Hell's Gate on my team from our game.
Oh,
I killed the legend.
I had Lightning Dwarf for a while, and then someone killed him. I don't remember who.
Rest in peace.
Unseen Walker was. Oh, it was. I think it was Travel Scrabble who killed him. Actually.
Nice. Man, I hate this Agi5 werewolf so much.
I know, he's such a pain. When we played, I like KO'd him or injured him pretty early, and it made a huge difference.
That's like the whole game against Scrabble. It's like, can you take out that guy and top cat early?
Yeah, they're so good that it's hard to. Man, and like both wolves, Motley Jr. is also incredible. Like the strength 4.
Yeah, but he doesn't have the same, like, at least versus bash teams like us, he doesn't have the same kind of crazy pressure that the Agi guy does.
No, as long as he's on the field, you just can't stop him from scoring, and that's kind of a lot of your game plan. It turns out is you either need to stop them from scoring or you need to 2-1 grind. Like those are your only options. You're not going to outscore them.
Mm-hmm.
I have Rolling Red this week, but he hasn't responded to me yet, unfortunately, so I don't know when that match is going to happen.
Interesting. He's one of the lizards, right?
Yeah, he's the lizards that are in rough shape currently.
So I have the other lizard.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be the first match in a long time that I predict in my favor instead of against myself.
Yeah, those poor lizard teams. REL.
Yeah, high TV and claw teams. They don't really like them. But he had a really rough sequence of games and lost a ton of Saurus. Like
yeah,
3 or 4 Saurus have died recently. Like he's not had a good time. Block. Yeah, the dwarves, attempting to do a semblance of move the ball up very fast, but it turns out when most of your team's movement 4 very fast is not fast enough, and the Necro can just get in the way.
Yeah, I don't really understand dwarfs at high TV, but it's so hard.
Well, the thing is, they're not really high TV because they entered this. They started the season with about 5 dwarves as their playoff run hurt them very badly. But a lot of it is just guard spam and being efficient, right? Like you can get some pretty crazy dwarf teams for like low TV.
Oh yeah, they're amazing at mid TV, I feel.
Well, that's a reasonable fireball so far, I guess. Okay, 1 down, 2 down. It does free up the ball, which is nice, and injures a zombie, but he regens, and now we don't have the wizard for attempting to turn over. But like the score quick plan is likely out the window now.
Yeah, it looks like he's just going to go for the 1 score. But yeah, I mean,
I feel like playing for the tie now is the way to do it.
I get it.
Yep. It's hard. Like he was going to have to make some pretty serious progress to give himself a lot of time to turn over the Necro with the wizard. Oh, there's another one. Yeah, it was gonna be a pretty tall ask. So I think we abandon that plan now. And well, it's possible he can still score in 2 turns, but that only gives him 2 turns, which isn't enough, and we won't have the wizard anymore. So it's probably better to just score on 16 and give your opponent only the 1 turn attempts rather than that's a double skill. That's not. your opponent only the 1 turn rather than like the 2 turn, because with those werewolves you can 2 turn no problem.
Yeah, I mean, it's just rough. Like we were just talking in the Discord for REL top tier about how many people are going to get demoted from REL 1, and it's so hard to stay in REL 1.
Yeah, there's a lot of movement, especially
if
with,
he even wants to.
Yeah, especially with there's a lot of playoff spots, but like every team that starts REL 1 like at the start of the season is good enough to win REL 1. I mean, there's a lot of good coaches, a lot of good teams. Like, it was effort to get here, so any match can go either way. You'll often see, you know, in like Div 4, there's like 1 or 2 teams running away with it. In Div 1, right, like the top record is, you know, 4-2-1. Like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 teams that are 1 win away from the top of the table. Like it can be such a tight division. It's very easy to pop up and down in rankings, and then, you know, rank up or rank down. It's volatile, to say the least.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a little more stability, but I understand wanting to keep people mobile through the divisions.
Well, the other big problem is rerolls. A lot of people reroll their teams, so like there has to be some instability. Like the only reason I'm in REL 1 right now is because of a reroll. I was barely on the edge of making it. My Challengers Cup performance, and then we're going to uphill surf the ball carrier. But somebody rerolls, so, you know, if there were no rerolls, there'd be less volatility, but there's often at least 1 with the number of like deaths that occur in the top divisions.
Yeah, like I thought I was like a shoo-in to stay last season, but then I lost in my Challenger Cup game, and all of a sudden I was like, oh, maybe not.
Yeah, I went to like the 3rd round in the Challengers Cup, I think, but I love that animation when the wolf dodges away and like 5 dwarves will go at the same time and try to knock him over. Yeah, when all matches, like, not only are all matches hard because all the coaches are generally, you know, not bad. A lot of the teams are developed teams and have crazy players, right? Like these Agi 5 werewolves and stuff. Well, we do. Despite getting surfed and the Agi 5 wolf getting the ball, Unseen Walker does what he attempted to do in half 1, and you know, sacks the ball carrier with the wrestle guy. Oh, there's another one.
Blitzer.
And not a 1. Excellent. Got the ball.
Arc, I would prefer if your team would temporarily die so that before our game.
We've already played. I don't care what happens now. You do you. Beat everyone else. That's fine. And then the ball is sacked again. This is very reminiscent of my game with Ragedorf. Like, you pick up the ball, I sack you. I pick up the ball, you sack me. Repeat. Like, for 4 turns in a row. Is pretty much what happened between me and Ragedorf. Although it was a little scarier because it was like on the touchdown line rather than midfield.
I played all the Nurgle arc.
Yeah.
I've survived. And the chaos.
Yeah, we played week 1, and it was like the most pillow-fisted Nurgle game I've seen in a while. If I recall correctly, it was a while ago, but I feel like neither of us heard each other.
Yeah, I forget exactly, but it was looking like maybe a win for me until the end when it became a draw, I think, and I was a little salty.
That seems to be the theme for my season right now. is it's looking like a win for the other person, and then something happens to make it a draw, and the other guy gets mad about it. It's a lot of my games.
Oh man, that catch! What is happening?
I know, right? Like your ball, my ball. Your ball, my ball. Your ball, my ball. Well, we're gonna try to blitz the dwarf off the ball, and dodge is a thing.
Whoa.
Dodge out, pick up the ball, leave because we're a wolf. Rage Dwarf has 1 turn, but they have several players in scoring range, and not unreasonable chance to sack the ball here.
Ragedorf is playing for the others trying to beat Travel Scrabble into the playoffs.
Pretty much. Well, he'd rather tie. It's better for his standings, and more touchdowns is more SPP. Like, it's kind of the dwarven way, as you said before. Injuries and touchdowns. Putting the blitzer in the end zone for the score. Oh, tries to dodge out the runner, but fails the dodge, and we have tackles. So we have to spend the reroll here.
Oh.
But we get the sack with the 1 die. We even KO Muttley. Excellent.
But this guy can't pass.
He can't. That's true. So we're gonna have to get somebody else to do it. I feel like that's probably the other blitzer. Although he's gonna have to not fail this dodge. Oh, he didn't, and not fail the pickup. He didn't.
This is the reason we're watching this game.
Yes. Oh, Grandmaster Dorf, what a hero. 1-1.
Swoop.
Yes.
Oh, I totally just remember seeing the result now. I forgot.
Shadorra says, "Hi from Hawaii, you hunky chunky piece of meat." Thanks, Shadorra. All the KOs come back.
Are we looking at a 1 turn?
Well, that's the hope for the Necro, I think. Well, the dwarves are hoping for a tie. The Necro could potentially 1 turn. They've got the Agi 5 certainly available in the movement. Although I'm surprised the dwarves aren't doing a little more to defend. Oh, no, we have grab, don't we? Yeah. The Flesh Golem has grab, so even if we put like some players in the back right behind the LOS to try to prevent the sort of blitz push, it's typical 1 turn, you just use the grab Flesh Golem to move him where you want anyway, and it doesn't really matter. Although we probably could have made this a bit harder than what we're doing. I think he's just trying to maximize sort of tackle zones for the werewolf to dodge through.
At least they're tackle zones, I guess.
Most of them. I'm too lazy to sit here and like pause and reanalyze all of this, but I feel like we could have made this potentially harder than we did. But yeah, you're seeing like the grab, you would just do this. But he could have put some dwarves sort of in front of, the line so that the wolf would have had to dodge through those versus dodging through where he is. Like, the Agi 5 is just too good, I think. It doesn't really matter. Agi 5 would be able to do it anyway. Pass.
This is too far away, right?
Well, he's not going yet. He still has the blitz.
Oh.
Because he can blitz one of these dwarves to chain push it again. He was just passing the ball while it was already a short pass, and he was only in 1 tackle zone.
He can even frenzy blitz.
Yep, and it looks like that's what we're setting up to do here. So push, and then push, and then push. And then we go again. And we even find the knockdown, so that's basically textbook, Exactly what you want to make this as easy as possible.
This is part of why the wolf is so annoying.
Yep, because he just dodges through. No matter, like, that 1 Flesh Golem with grab and that Agi 5 wolf, no matter what you do in setup there, you could not make that hard. Because you can't, there's sort of 2...
Well,
like 1
you
turn
can
defense.
Defend the blitz, because that wolf blitz from behind could have been having to dodge through stuff.
That is true. Maybe if he set up in a more typical like defend the blitz position, it would have helped that way. But with the grab Flesh Golem, he just pulls people into place, and he could have set up in a slightly different way that probably wouldn't have even required the blitz. Or he could have even put that wolf like behind, so that he can just frenzy blitz without the push or without the blitz. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a dumb player, and I think no matter how you set it up, it's easy to go through.
If you have guys closer then maybe he has to pass sooner. I don't know. It's minor stuff, but
yeah, I think it's better to put players just behind, sort of defending against the blitz, because if like just basically anything that makes it even a teeny bit harder is slightly better than just lining up at the back there, because it's just two 2+ dodges for the 5+ or for the Agi 5. So
Ark says stand firm. That's a good point. Did he have any?
He has 1, so that's kind of irrelevant because there's only 1. Yeah. Anyway, that's that result. I'm gonna bring up my title screen for a second so we don't spoil anything, and I'm gonna go look at a 2A match. I don't actually know which one I'm gonna watch yet, so I'm just gonna kind of pick one. I wanted to watch initially Luis, Juano, and Holes, because that was the only contentious pick that Shadorra and I had during that during 2A. But looking at the result, which we'll get to eventually, it's probably not the most interesting thing to watch in the world. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this before we started, but in that match we just watched, we had both predicted Necro, so we both get +1 for that. So bear with me while I write in my notepad here, because I can't. I don't have Shadorra to make notes for me. So let's see. This is the other match that I was planning on, that I was thinking about. So I know we have watched one of these teams before, but we haven't watched the other one, and it's a team that I like and is fun. So I'll switch into the game now that we are loading things up. Also, it has, a larger than normal number of touchdowns for games that I watch, so that could be interesting. We're watching
spoilers.
I know, right? We're gonna watch Not for Science and Moneybags. So fell with Squadadal, the High Elves, with more injuries than not injuries. And
these High Elves are insane.
They're such a glass cannon High Elf team. They have the most crazy levels, but every single elf on the team has a red cross.
I'm so happy to not be in a div with this team this season.
And we have Moneybags' Necro. So it is worth noting that we both predicted the High Elves to win this. There's only one contentious pick in this div, and it was the Nurgle versus Elves. Like the Elves are going to be on defense first.
He still has the God Catcher, right?
The Strength 5 one, yes.
Correct.
The Strength 5 Blodge Frenzy one. He also has the Natural One-Turner. And he has the Strong Arm, Accurate, Sure Hands, Pass, Safe Throw, Fend, Block, Thrower.
What the heck, man?
Look at this team. But the Necro team is not much worse. There's a Strength 4, Agi 4 Ghoul, Boost Movement 6.
Why is that not dead?
And there's an Agi 4 Leap Werewolf, which is the funniest thing. I love him so much. The leap animation on the werewolf actually isn't garbage. Like, most players that don't have leap just have the generic, the model just kind of floats up and then lands again. Animation. It doesn't look terrible on a wolf because they're on all fours. Like, it's actually not terrible. It's kind of cool. Pitch invasion. Oh,
here we go.
It begins. The Elves are on defense first. And the one sort of bad thing that they really have going for them is that that Natural One-Turner has to be on the pitch because they have no bench.
So, wow, now he's totally exposed.
Yeah, he's a big target. And every elf is busted. Like he
got lucky. The piling on guy is actually potentially now I can get him, but
it looks like we're just going for him with the Strength Ghoul, which is kind of interesting. We only find pushes,
that's significantly less scary than the tackle piling on guy, because I would have tried to find some way to hit that One-Turner with the piling on.
1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3. 4,
he blocked himself with the Flesh Golem, but
yeah, he could have double GFI'd to get around, but that's a little rough, and it leaves your ball pretty exposed if you fail things. Like this. Oh, he got it the second time. It's really scary with the Elves that close. What I've been trying to say for a bit now, but things keep happening, is that we have this Blitzer here who is a High Elf Blitzer with Mighty Blow, Piling On, and Juggernaut, because why not? But he's also
Juggernaut really better than Dodge? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it does help for like natural one-turn things if like they put stand firm players like on the line or something. But even then, you just dodge through.
I don't even know if I like Jump Up more than Dodge, but it's certainly a cool build. I like it.
Jump Up. Well, he has Piling On, so the Jump Up helps. But what's really funny is that he's also Agi 3. He's not an elf anymore. He's just like an orc.
He's a Norse. He's
a
berserker.
The Norse berserker on the elf team. He's great. But like Agi 3, the strength 5 catcher is movement 7. Like every lineman has a niggle. One of them is movement 5. There's just so many injuries on this team, but so many good skills. It's incredible.
That catcher is probably the most unfair piece I've ever played against, I think.
The strength 5 Blodge Frenzy, you know, it's pretty good.
He didn't have Frenzy when I last played him, but it doesn't really matter.
He's a big guy. He's like an ogre with movement 7.
He's an ogre with Blodge that moves. Yeah.
Imagine if he wasn't movement busted and he's movement 8.
Well, and he can just give him the ball and potato with that guy, and if you don't have some like solid tools, what do you even do?
Yeah, he's movement 7 in Blodge, and he's an elf, so he's Agi 4. Like, you just 2+, run down the field, enjoy. Like,
or like 3+2+, through your line, and all of a sudden
quad skulls.
It's an ogre. Hello there.
Targeted a blitzer and quad skulled.
At least the ball is somewhat safe. I mean,
oh man, my chat just went all weird, and I saw no messages for a really long time. Sorry for not responding to everybody, but I just suddenly got 1,000 messages all at once. Don't like Jugs. Juggernaut is probably against the 1 in 9s. You don't have to 3+ dodge if you want to 9 on the blitz. Also, almost the same stat line as my Orc Blitzer. Yeah.
If he took the Jugs after the Agility 3, then I understand more, for sure.
Probably, yeah. All these elves, like, man, there's just so many skills. It's hard. Like, I have not all skills turned on. I have only leveled skills turned on. It's still hard to see what's going on.
Luckily, high elves don't start with any skills, so there's no difference.
I mean, that's true. Well, the blitzers have block. The catchers have catch.
Ooh, he fouled like this against me and killed my killer in the previous season.
KO'd the killer, so that's a big weight off of Not for Science's shoulders, not having that piling on running around. Although I think there's another one, right?
Ever since he did that foul to me, I haven't had a piling on guy.
No.
Sadness.
We don't actually have another piling on, I don't think. No, we just have one more Mighty Blow. So that's actually a really big deal for the Hiles.
Now the elves are bashier than the Necro, almost.
I mean, yeah, which is so weird. That's stupid strength 5. This team is so dumb, and I love it. It's incredible.
I don't know. I'm still not a huge fan of fouling with line elves, but I guess against the killer, you can justify him.
Yeah, I feel like it was worth it there. If you can get a good one against that, like that piece in particular, yeah, totally worth it. Oh, here comes the leap. We're going for the sack. Just a push, but we re-roll it into a skull. And get knocked out. Okay. Ah, man, like this team is like a bad game or two away from no longer existing. But it just never has those bad games because it can keep rolling with these crazy skills. It's so cool. Like, one of these days, it's just gonna die. Right, like, that Blitzer's gonna get strength busted, or like Agi busted again. You'll have an Agi 2 elf, and like, you're gonna want to keep.
I'd keep him with Agi 2.
Yeah, that's true. I would too. If he got strength busted, I would not.
Well, yeah.
Oh, there's an injury. We're gonna add more to the tallies. Was that guy? Was he already injured, or is this a new one? I can't. I need to find out. He was already he was already niggled. and now it's just a badly hurt. So it's not a new injury.
Well, this is what the Necro need. They have to
just a player advantage.
Have numbers, or they're screwed.
Pretty much. A lot of bash teams against elf teams are like that, really. Not that Necro are like a bash team, but like against elves, you kind of are.
I think they're a bash team for sure.
Not against like other bash teams. I don't know. It's kind of hard to
maybe all the wolves I play against have Mighty Blow piling on, so
yeah, but that's like that's like calling Skaven sort of a bash team then, because they have a Claw Mighty Blow player, right?
I guess that's true.
It's like they're not meant to like slam into you and just like get into a big fight, but they use the wolves for like, you know, sniping important players or whatever. Whereas against elves, you can kind of do the base mash quite a bit more.
Yeah, they're a hybrid team for sure.
Yeah, and it kind of depends on who you're playing, I think. And one of their big strengths against the elves is being able to hit stuff well. So they're going to keep trying it, but these elves are gross.
Oh, this sidestep is going to be annoying.
Yeah. Anything we can do to just remove players so that he's going to have to start exposing the more important ones, namely like that movement 10 guy. If like, as long as he's on the field and exists, the Necro have a reasonable shot of losing again, because he can just counter whatever you do. So you really want to target him whenever you get a chance.
What is this? Ball frenzy shenanigans.
It's a little terrifying. Are we going to foul an elf here? I would imagine so, because there's a dirty player right next to him.
Man, I think this is greedy. He's already getting decent removals.
I don't know if you're outbashed versus me, Travel Scrabble, considering you killed my entire LOS. I looked at that again, and 2 of the deaths were double deaths, because they're the Rotters of Decay, and 2 of them died twice. So it wasn't 3 death rolls, it was 5 death rolls. It's sequentially.
The really ball is so exposed right now.
It is. I mean, but it's always going to be against these elves, I think. But like, it's literally based. Which is not really where I want to be.
Yeah.
Although there's no guard, and there's guard on either side of the ball, but you know, it doesn't matter. Strength 5. It doesn't matter. Strength 5. And he catches it too. So see you later. Like,
GG.
He stops moving actually, but I don't think he had much movement left. But it's going to be hard to knock him down with Strength 5, you know?
He's an ogre. He doesn't need to move.
That's true.
Part of the tough thing about playing against that player is the fact that he looks like a normal elf. And it really is tricky to remember what he does.
Yeah, I mean, you don't see a high elf catcher and think, oh yeah, Strength 5 Frenzy. That is true, Travel, yeah. But like in Div 1, the Necro team is very likely not to be up against, well, especially our Div 1. There's just so many punch teams, like Chaos and Orcs and Lizards and Nurgle and stuff. Very often you're not going to be the better punchy team. Like you will be against elves.
That's unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh, tackle. Okay.
Block zombie. Not that block mattered there, but it's, you know. The dirty player block is kind of weird. Like, you don't really want more levels on the player that is probably going to get sent off. But you also don't want to, like, get rid of him if he accidentally levels, because dirty player is kind of good. But maybe wrestle instead of block? I don't know.
Yeah, wrestle. I think wrestle or block are both fine.
Yeah, I think
it's just one level.
Yeah, it's just not great when they do level. It's like, oh, well, now I have to keep him, but he's 20k more expensive than I want him to be. We do have to invest a reroll there to find the knockdown, but we find it, and the wolf is KO'd, which is, that's a big deal. It's not the Agi wolf, but that's a good scatter. For the Elves.
It's turn 6 right now. So, catcher, okay.
Well, the natural one-turner can just, you know, leave. As long as he can score in 2 turns from anywhere on the pitch.
True, but it's nice to have him in scoring position each turn so that you can attempt it each turn.
That is true, yeah. Just I don't think he could get a hold of the ball. I don't know, maybe he should have considered moving the one turn or more into the end zone rather than just back to where he is now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Or the blodge step guy.
Sidestep being still annoying. Well, we're blocking the elves, off the ball, but it's not really enough. Are we going to try to pick up in 2 tackle zones? He is agi 4, but 2 tackle zones is a lot.
I think it's worth trying.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. It's just unfortunate for you when it doesn't work. It's
now the wolf is surfable, hilariously.
Not anymore. Yeah.
Oh, he's sidestep. Never mind.
Yeah, it's definitely worth trying, because if you just leave it on the floor, the elves are going to get it, but it's not something you should plan on working, I guess. But you got to try it. Alright, there we go. Sending the blodge step guy to be a scoring threat. And the one-turner is going to not grab the ball, he's just going to get on the ball. We're going to send the thrower to pick up the ball. Oh, and then probably throw it, I imagine. Although it is weathering, blizzarding.
That is that a thing? I thought it was.
It's snowing, so you can only do quick short passes.
Huh.
He somehow managed to fail the pass, though.
Crazy. Or did he punt it?
I don't know.
It says success.
Yeah, he rolled a 7 because of strong arm and accurate. So, did he not try to? I don't know what happened there.
I think he failed to realize.
He forgot about the blizzard. Yeah, that's what it was. Didn't realize he couldn't throw it longer than he did, so he quote punted it as a short pass.
Man, it might have been better to hold it once he realized. Or can you not go back?
I don't know. Once you declare the pass, can you stop? That's a good question. Turns out 2 Nurgle coaches don't really know the answer to that.
Oh, man.
Whenever you...
man.
Yeah, we have a shot here. But we failed. Just a push. So he's still on the ball. You don't have to declare the pass ahead of time, but you do have to say I'm passing now, and you get that
once
arrow,
you click that button,
and you have the arrow sort of where do you want to pass it to. Can you exit out of that? Is that a thing you can do? I don't know. Whenever I have a pass, I just throw it because I'm passing for a particular reason, and it's probably because I have to pass to score. But
all right, well, it seems like it's gonna work out for him here.
It does. We do get the ghoul out of the way, pick up the ball, and move it all the way across the field in the snow, despite it being 3 squares from your own end zone, because high elves. You do have to declare the pass on tabletop ahead of time, which is something that I would never get used to. I don't know if you play tabletop or not, but you have to be I'm going to pass with this guy, before you start moving him.
Right. At the
a blitz
before you activate him, or at the start of the turn?
Before you activate him, I think. Like how you would with the leap in Blood Bowl 2. You have to declare the blitz before you leap. You have to declare the pass before you run and pick up the ball.
Interesting. So that's actually a pretty significant difference then.
Yeah, because you can't wait to see if you've succeeded catches or what have you before you decide what to do. And you can't be well, if this works, I'll hand off, and if it doesn't, I'll pass, because you have to declare the pass out of time.
Right.
Although a handoff would be still a pass, I think, technically. I don't know. I mean, it would be for me because I've literally never played tabletop Archangel, so it would take me forever, I feel. But then again, people you're playing real people, so you don't someone's going to be forgiving and that kind of thing instead of a unforgiving game mechanic engine that will just nope, you failed the thing, you forgot to declare the blitz. And when you're learning, people aren't gonna fuck with you that way.
Looks like Not for Science is just gonna one maybe. Oh.
Well, he's setting up to do so, but we get the perfect defense, so we can
This is spicy.
Although this isn't. All you've done is add a 4+ or a 3+ and a 2+ to the 1 turn attempt. Not both of which, well, at least one of which are rerollable because of the block. Like it's probably almost worth it to take like 2 zombies and just slap them on the sideline there, so that he physically can't run through you, and it's like it's just a wall that he can't run through.
Yeah, I think this might be a trap perfect defense because he's just gonna get hit.
Yeah, and now he's just leaving.
Oh, what? Whoa.
Yeah, you don't have to pass if you declare one. It's just you only get 1 pass declare. So like you can declare a blitz with a player and then not blitz with them.
Is this a blodge potato now? What is happening?
I think that's what we've rotated into, but because we've like put so many players on the LOS, all we have to do is sort of it's blodge step potato, and the only player that can do anything about it is the werewolf, and he doesn't have tackle.
Right. Well, yeah, that's true. Can the white get there with the GFI dodge?
With a
or just with
really GFIs? Not anymore. Not with the players in the way that there are.
Okay, now it's safe.
The wolf. Well, if the wolf gets through first, then the white can, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like the wolf would have to 2+ mark, and then the white would have to 3+, 2+, 2+, and then we could 2-die with tackle. But that is a lot of dice.
1 in 81. I think it's worth it to try those dice. Surf that guy, maybe.
Oh, he's sidestep, so you're not going to surf him.
Oh, right.
But you could, like... I think it's... just marking him isn't going to do anything, really. Although you can, if you blitz that guy, you save dice, and you can mark him with a couple players to make it so he's going to have to roll a bunch of dodges through tackle. The other option would have been to roll a bunch of dice. The problem is it's blizzarding, right? So the GFI is a 3+ instead of a 2+, and you would have had to roll 2 of them.
After he used the reroll, I understand why he would go for something safer.
Yeah, I think that's true. If it wasn't for that double skull and did both down skull.
This is still decent once the wolf comes in front.
Yeah, it's we don't get to sack, but it at least is slightly more difficult for the elf.
It's pretty difficult.
Yeah, that's true. The
4 plus
dodge away.
3 plus 2 plus.
Yeah, he could dodge out the strength catcher and then put him in the end zone and try to pass, but it's a pass in 3 tackle zones, which really sucks.
Yeah, that seems rough.
We can blitz one of them at least, and that's the tackle.
Yeah, there's dice everywhere though. This could go badly for the elves.
Doesn't. It's getting the tackle out was the big thing there, but he had to roll a couple dice to make that happen. It was a 3+, 2+, and then a knockdown.
Ugh, down 2-0 sucks.
Yeah, it's not really where you want to be against this team, with especially with the sort of the lack of removals. I mean, you got a decent number of KOs, but those aren't like perms, and you need to be kind of significantly ahead of the elves to do a lot when the elves have like this many skills, and when they're just sort of scoring like this, you're on your back foot and you can't really line up good, piling on hits, so you can't like try to maximize the number of blocks you take a turn because you're worrying about I need to put 2 players on either side, or a player on either side of this elf, so it's harder for him to dodge, and then got to use 3 guys to like screen off the touchdown attempt, and suddenly it's about preventing the elves from moving rather than getting the hits you want. And that's just, you're on the back foot and you don't have the momentum you need to accomplish things.
Even if most of the good elves were dead right now, it would still be hard to draw and really hard to win.
Yeah, well, movement 8 with the wolves is not impossible, but the win is hard. The weather changing back to nice is actually probably worse for you as the Necro, I think, because you're not likely to do long passes, and it prevented the elves from doing so.
He might want to make some GFIs at some point.
I mean, that's true, but I think that's kind of neutral for both sides for the most part. Although, like, it's worse for the elves because the GFI is in the snow for the one-turner. The lack of long passes. Yeah. I mean, the one-turner is sure feet, but I mean, it's three pluses with a reroll instead of two pluses with a reroll.
Yeah, it's 3, 1, and 9s, which is actually quite high chance of failing.
Yeah, and you only get to reroll one of them, like with sure feet.
Yep.
So we'll see what the Necro elect to do here. I mean, if they want to tie it, they've got to score quickly and then attempt to turn over. But
what are the standings like in this div? I have no idea.
If they score quickly, then the one-turner just does things. I will check briefly for you. So Not for Science is currently winning with 5-1-1 record. And he's in first, but only by 1 point. Stouticus and his Nurgle are in second with 15 points, so 4-3-0. Louis Swano and his Nurgle are in third with 14 points, 4-2-1. Like it's they're all off by 1. Moneybags is in seventh with a 2-4-1 record, so a lot of draws, but not a lot of losses either.
So this is pretty bad for him. He really needed a win to start trying to turn his record.
A win would have been incredible for him in terms of standings. Brink would have.
Well, it's not over yet.
Although I was just mentioning current standings, like post this game rather than pre this game. So if you're clever, you can spoil yourselves, I guess. But I'm sorry about that.
Well,
I wasn't thinking about it. I just looked at rebel.net. Oops.
I didn't know what they were before, so blissfully ignorant.
Yeah, these elves are currently the top of Div 2A, so it's pretty likely that they're going to be moving up to play with us.
Gosh darn it.
Yep. Well, like they've been around for a while. It's not a young elf team by oh, that's a dead elf. That's a dead good elf too. He got better though. Never mind. He's fine. Yeah, they've been they've been around since season 6. So they're not a young team. They've generally been sort of like mid table ish for most of it, slowly climbing up the divisions. They were in Div 2A last season, but didn't do this well. This year they're crushing 2A currently, comparatively to last season.
I was in a Div 3 with them, maybe, or something. On my way.
In season 9, perhaps, or season 8, they were in Div 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in 2A last season. So they're off to a really strong start this season. So pretty good chance of them moving up. We'll see that when we get to leaderboards after this game.
We'll see what kind of health they can maintain for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's the big question. So far, they're doing all right. I mean, I've been saying since the start of the season that, like, you know, they're one bad game away from no longer existing, and they just haven't had that bad game yet. You know, they keep getting injured. They keep taking a lot of injuries, but they're always inconsequential ones, like badly hurts and missed next games and stuff like that are not retiring players. Extra reroll for Moneybags. Elves are set up to do their natural one-turn nonsense. And we surf a ghoul to open up a path. Because these elves, man.
This is obnoxious.
High elf one-turners are especially annoying. Like, it's definitely harder for them to get there because they're movement 8 rather than like 9 of a gutter runner or something, so they need 2+ movements. Like they need 3 skills minimum to be a natural one-turner, and 2 of them have to be movement. However, if they do get it, they're strength 3, right? And a strength 3 natural one-turner, comparatively to the strength 2 that you often see from like wood elves or Skaven, is so good because you can blitz your own holes through stuff. And you see that on there's an elf one-turner in Big O somewhere whose legend skill is Juggernaut, entirely who's a one-turner, but his last skill is Juggernaut, just to push, stand firm, and block people like out of the way for the last like 2 steps of the one turn. If they go line up on the backfield, you can just Juggernaut their way through the line at the end instead of having to roll a couple dodges. It's great.
It seems so brain dead. It's just like with this thrower as well. You just like click ball, click end zone, click ball.
I know, right? Well, I mean, there may be a correlation between the fact that he was sort of mid-table through most of the previous seasons, and he's now dominating this season. I wonder what the difference is. Fun and interactive gameplay. Hearthstone memes. Yeah, the Steakmittens one bad game reverse curse. No one ever gets it. No, like I say, like, you know, if this happens, they're screwed. It's never gonna happen.
Oh.
You can get some pretty gross players on the players that already have high stats or what have you. Like in Clan League, Sean Man in from my clan just rolled a 2nd plus Agi on his Gutter Runner, so he has an Agi 6 Gutter Runner, which is stupid.
Interesting.
Like, it seems weird, but it's like giving the Gutter Runner, like, you know, extra arms and 2 heads for less money because those are doubles, and it's only 1 skill.
Like, yeah.
So
I guess it's just amazing.
Yeah, he just picks up in as many tackles, like, and it's like the only player on his team that has skills. So he like gets a wizard every game. We'll be able to
watched him play actually just the other day.
Yeah, lightning bolt stuff, pick up the ball, leave. Like with Agi 6, doesn't matter how many tackle zones, who cares? Like it's like it changes. Yeah, one turners are really interesting. Like, it's on the one hand, you know, they're so good and you can basically just tie a game at minimum when you have one. The downside is if it's your only game plan and you lose that guy, you just suddenly don't have a plan anymore. But
it's kind of like the agility version of Claw Palm, right? Like...
Yeah. And it's that and it's the like the wizard sort of conundrum in that like the threat of a wizard or one turner completely changes how your opponent plays and has to play, and you can often take advantage of that, right? You know, if you have a wizard, your opponent can't, like, it's much scarier for them to try to stall to turn 8. It's much scarier for them to potato. So you can play around that, and it's the same thing with a one-turner, right? If you have a one-turner, you know your opponent's going to try to target him or whatever. Like, it changes the gameplay style. It's a big like target, and it's weird. Like, the threat of a one-turner is just as strong as the fact that the one-turner exists.
Oh man. Strength 5 guy just does not care.
Nope, here we go. Like, strength 5. It's great. Tackle. We're just gonna sack the ball here. Bump.
Even as the guard.
Man, how do you play against this elf team? It's so good. I mean,
I diced him in our game.
That's fair. I mean, if I played him, I would just be like, cool, I have claw, let's go. And then just like, I have claw and you have no bench, and yet I still get like 300k in inducements. So I'm gonna claw you, and I'm gonna get some bribes, and there are gonna be boots going into those elves, and we'll see what happens. And that will be the game plan.
Yeah, I mean, the whole game playing against them, you're just terrified because that strength 5 guy can just do whatever he wants.
You can't even like lock him up with a Beast of Nurgle because he's strength 5, so he can just leave the tentacles. Ugh, it's terrible. It's cheating. Elves are cheating.
Just strength 5 elves are cheating.
Strength 5 elves with a one-turner are cheating. Oh, it's such a good team, though. It's so stupid.
Well, we'll have to try and give him the Div 1 hug.
That's true. Assuming I stick around. We'll give it all. They'll do my best, but I'm on that cusp right now, I feel. Here comes a boot.
Oh. Oh, yeah, there's 2 dirty players.
And if my team doesn't die, like, it's so on the verge of not being a team anymore.
Yeah, you've already had so many removals or deaths this season. It seems unlikely, but it could happen.
I'll stick around. We get the ball out and we score. We get the
Oh,
ball out
boy.
with a ghoul. It puts us up to 3-2. Although we're going to have to turn over somehow.
I like this aggressive play.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you've got to go for it. It's the only way you have a chance of tying. Although right now you've basically just got to bank on your opponent failing a one turn, or aim for like another perfect defense or something. But I mean, you might as well, right? If your opponent has a one turner and is just going to immediately score again, you might as well just be aggressive and like you can get some touchdowns and maybe they fail a thing, maybe you get a few more removals, and it's suddenly possible to tie it. But if you just leave fewer turns on the board and give him only one turn attempt to fail, then you're probably tying or losing.
And like the one turn can fail. Like it's not guaranteed.
No, it's not guaranteed. I mean, it's a 2+ with a reroll, and then it's 3 2+s with a reroll.
But there's also the pass and the pickup, which are 1 in 36s.
Yeah, I mean, so like let's assume best case scenario that it's a pickup that's close enough to the ball or close enough to the one turner so that we can just hand off. It's a 1 in 36 pickup. It's a 1 in 36 handoff. It's a 3 1 in 36 sprints. And then it's probably another 1 in 36 dodge somewhere along there, right? Like it's not free.
It's just when you're playing against it that you just know it's going to work every fucking time.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like, yeah, it's probably like an 80% chance to work, which means that it's going to work. Like that's just an arbitrary number. I picked a number. I didn't do math.
I can pull it.
But if it's an 80% chance to work, for example, 20% of the time it shouldn't. So you know, over the course of, so it feels like you have a chance, but you know, on average it's going to work. And over the course of a whole season, if you try 10 of them, only 1 or 2 of them are going to fail. So I just made up a number. If I'm right on, I'll be super impressed.
I'll figure.
Like that was just sort of an intuition number rather than anything else. Oh, there's one of them failing. I mean, we got a 1 there.
And we're assuming some dodges as well, right?
I mean, probably assume like at least 1 dodge, but more than likely 2. I think he's just trying to stall. With using the reroll on the pass there, he didn't want to go for the 1 turn and leave the ball exposed in case he failed. Especially considering he's already winning and his opponent only has 2 turns after this. He just gets the ball in the hands of the strength 5 and then leaves. Right, just is trying to just defend it and turn this into a 3-2.
Your guess was super right on. It's like 79%.
Awesome.
that's with 3 dodges. With
Excellent.
2, it's 81.
Either way, it's like right on. Nice. Good job, me. Intuition. Putting those math degrees to good use.
Okay, things are happening. This is not looking so bad.
Oh, we have a chance. You know, it's not a great one because the ball is in the hands of the strength 5 guy.
God, it's so annoying.
But
at least we have a strength goal.
That's true. Although he's moving 6, so yeah, strength 4 ghoul with tackle. We certainly have a shot. I mean, we'll need another assist and we can 1-die it, but
God. What the heck?
Juggernaut. A Juggernaut elf to cancel out the stand firm and potentially offer up the surf on the or no, we couldn't because that other guy doesn't have Juggernaut.
He just wants to squeak by though.
Yeah, he's just trying to get another couple scoring threats to see if we can grab another touchdown out of this on turn 16.
Looks like he's gonna cage a little bit.
That's probably worth doing with that ghoul lying around. Die! Oh, he's fine. No, I think he absolutely made the right play there. Giving up on the 1 turn was not exactly as likely as he would have liked, and with only a couple turns left. He still had a chance to do what he's doing here and score again. But at best, you probably, or at worst, I suppose, it's pretty likely that you make it a 3-2. Oh, there's an
I don't
injury.
like this. I don't like this foul at all.
It's a little scary in case, because you still need to blitz this like, the scoring threat. Oh, tried for the leap. There's the wolf leap. We haven't seen it yet.
Oh,
Oh, we failed. Oh, damn. Disappointing. Yeah, if that foul failed, it's just like, cool, you win. But I mean,
I think he probably already had given up mentally, but he could have smashed everyone in and made him have to roll some dice and potentially have a scoring threat.
Well, he had an attempt on the ball with the leap there, and he went for it, and he just happened to fail the leap twice.
But then it was red dice on a blodger, right?
Yeah, it is. That's true. I mean, but it's better than nothing.
It was going to be a red dice surf though on Frenzy.
That's true. Yeah, so even pushes.
It might have been triple red though at some point.
I don't think so because the none of the guys on the bottom have guard, and they were all marked up by the flesh golem.
Okay, so then double red die Frenzy surf is reasonable for sure.
To prevent your to possibly get a score to win the game if you knock the ball free and have that ghoul and werewolf in scoring range. Yeah, I think it's good. We fail a dodge there and injure ourselves. So suddenly, we're starting to run out of elves, but it's kind of too little, too late at this point.
It was an Agi 4 leap, right?
Yes. Damn. Tried the red die block. We got double both down, rerolled into skull push to end the game. And the one turner gets the MVP because that's who needs it. I mean, I guess he was technically the MVP of the game, but he didn't exactly need the SPP. Flesh Golem MVP is always nice.
The leap into double red dice surf was 30% to work. Not bad.
It's not as bad as you would have expected, certainly. Okay, well, we did both predict the, and I say we, meaning me and Shadorra. You get to be Red Shadorra, or Shadjoker, or what have you. For this week, we both did predict that, so that's another point. We're already in REL 2A, so let's take a look at the other results from this week. So we had the Rebel Cheese Thieves versus the Battle Brothers here. We had both predicted the Bretonians would take this one. And I love
the Battle Brothers.
So do I. I played Cleric. I think he was on my div the first season I was in REL, when the team was a lot less terrifying than it is now, with the ridiculous amount of agi it has. He still beat me into the earth because I had no tackle and he had a bunch of blodge brats, but whatever. 2-1 for the Bretonians, 18 armor breaks versus 7 for the Skavens. So the Brets kind of bullying the rats, certainly it looks like. Rats didn't have the ball very much, but these rats do have a natural one-turner, speaking of natural one-turners. So that's probably that one touchdown, honestly.
What did the Brets have bash-wise? How lucky were they to get those 17 AV breaks?
Let's see, they had 28 blocks that resulted in 17 armor breaks.
That's pretty insane.
They have a couple Mighty Blow lying around as well.
Yeah, but still.
6 casualties and 7 KOs that they put onto those rats, one of them being a death, although the rats doing some work too. So the rats with the rats with 7 armor breaks, which resulted in 4 casualties, 2 KOs, one of those being a death. So quite a thing.
Feels bad to outblock the Bretonians and then just still get outbashed into oblivion.
Yeah, only 2 blocks less than the Bretonians did, but these are a very agi heavy Bretonian team. The Brets will take that one down. Not unexpected. It's a super lean rat team, but it has a one turner. Is basically what it is. So it's kind of fun. We had So I'm just going through the matches. I don't know. Do you have something else you want to talk about there?
No, I'll save it.
Sure. We have the Grungy Desserts versus the Lachlan Longtongues. We both predicted that the Nurgle would take this one, and it was a 2-2 tie. Rotter MVP to level, but also an injury. He's double niggle now.
Wow, this skink, this proto legend.
I know he's almost there, right? Sprint, sure feet, jump up, dodge, plus agi, and sidestep. Like all of the normal skills like that he can possibly take, and then agi, I guess.
He's like what, like a infinite TV basically for him.
Yeah, he's a huge skink. Let's see. So the Nurgle throwing down 38 blocks, the Lizards throwing down 37 blocks. 2 casualties and 2 KOs sustained by the Nurgle. 3 casualties, 3 KOs for the Lizards, but 2 of those casualties were deaths. So
oh man,
we're at 2 games so far and 4 deaths.
So it was kind of a pillow fight, but then people died anyway.
Yeah, it seems that way. Not a whole lot of like removals, but the removals that happened stuck around in the most permanent of senses. Looks pretty even otherwise, you know. I feel like it was an early score on both offensive drives for like both teams, and then a counter score in the second half of each half. Really, is
50-50 ball possession.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm seeing. Is, you know, Nurgle drive, score on turn 4. You know, Lizard drive, score on turn 8, and then repeat second half. Anything crazy in terms of the dice rolls? Not particularly. One failed regen for the Nurgle, but that's the only regen they had to make, so it's not particularly.
Looks like the Nurgle did a pass.
Failed lightning bolt too, actually, is
Ooh.
a thing that occurred. So that could potentially have been the difference between a 2-1 and a 2-2.
Definitely.
Then we have the Hornstars 2018 versus Rebel Rage Quit. So this is a very large Chaos team against Orabi.
Yeah.
We predicted the Chaos to win this because they were going to be able to out Orabi because he was missing a couple chorfs and with MNGs and that sort of thing. So he
kept it even on the AV breaks, but he lost some players.
Yeah, well, that seems about right. We did predict the Chaos, and they did take it 2-0. The Chorfs literally never having the ball.
Oh god,
which
the MVPs are insane.
Yeah, on the Bull Centaur to level him, and to send Buster Good to Legend. I didn't even notice. So let's check him out real quick. He has made Legend. His Legend skill is Surprise Juggernaut. He is every killer Beastman or Nurgle Pestigore that has ever existed in Block, Mighty Blow, Tackle, Piling On, Claw, Juggernaut in some order.
Interesting that he took Claw so late, though.
That is true. Normally you see players like this. A lot of the time you actually see like Mighty Blow, Claw, Block even, just because they want to get leveled really quick.
Yeah.
Or Block, Mighty Blow, Claw. Although if he took... I can understand the Tackle ahead of anything if he was playing some Elves and really wanted that Tackle piece. But then piling on before Claw is quite a statement. Let me see.
Yeah, so he was a backup killer. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Minimo, and then he was promoted to Claw Guy at some point.
I see. Yeah, we've all had that. I mean, my backup killer sort of became my main killer, and my old killer is still alive. He got niggled. I was building him to be a killer, and then he got niggled. And I was like, all right, cool. Well, I'll start this other Pestigore I have that's only block right now. I was going to do like the Frenzy thing, but I'll just start building him as a killer too, because this guy's niggled. He's probably going to die at some point. I'd like to have that ready. And he's not. So now I have the replacement killer is now higher level than the original killer. And the original killer is still around. So now I have 2. It's not
the worst problem.
No, not really. I mean, 30 blocks, 42 blocks. So Arabi doing Arabi things, punching stuff. 3 casualties and 2 KOs sustained by the Chaos, but 4 casualties, including 2 deaths. So more deaths in this division. This is not a week where we look at teams, because we do that every other week, but I'm really tempted to go look at all these teams now that they have less players.
Okay.
Then we have BioWare for Life and Abysmal Cusp. It's a tie, so there's no point changes here. But we predicted that the Nurgle would win against the Vamps. The Vamps are a good Vamp team, but they were missing a couple vampires for this game, and we thought that was going to be hard, being down Vamps. But apparently not.
So well done for the Vamps then.
Yeah, they were missing 1 or 2 vampires, I think, going into this. 29 blocks, 40 blocks. Like they got shoved around really hard.
Yeah, it looks like just some quick scores with 25% ball possession, and then just trying to hang on.
Yeah, and they did, or at least successfully prevented a second chaos score, whether that be from vampire shenanigans or what have you. But looks like they got bullied quite a bit. 7 KOs, 3 casualties sustained. Some of those potentially from bites, but
I'm assuming there were tons of inducements if they're missing vamps.
Probably. I don't remember how many, but there were likely to be some. Bloodlust was pretty good. There's only 2 failures, like the whole game, actually. So, but there weren't that many vampires, so I guess that's one thing.
He looks like he loner rerolled something. That's exciting.
He did, and it worked.
So that was probably a star player.
Yeah, it must have been, because I think he had enough thralls to have at least a full team. I don't remember. But that worked out to be a tie. So like, well done for the vampires there. That's not what I would have expected. We watched Fell with Squattadol and the Forsaken Awoken, so we don't need to look at that again. Contract Killers versus Welcome to the Dark Side. So we predicted that the Dark Elves would take this over the chorfs. Normally chorfs don't like hate that matchup, but these chorfs are in a bit of a rougher position than they should be currently.
They got the breaks, but couldn't convert into the score.
Points doing well. We had a couple rough weeks in terms of predictions, but we've been either tied or dead on so far this week, which I'm pretty pleased with. Yeah, 17 armor breaks versus 1.
Pretty good.
Yeah. The literally no one ever. There's at most 1 stun on behalf of the dwarves there, or chorfs. 2 Kaz and 2 KOs sustained for the Dark Elves.
Terrible injury rolls, really, considering 17 breaks.
Yeah, that's not helpful for the Dark Elves, or for the chorfs, I mean. The Dark Elves just doing, elf things, it looks like. 0% leaps. They failed 2 attempts. But
dodges were amazing, though. Look at those dodges.
Their entire, the elf team, it's a really good Dark Elf team. There's so much blodge, and there was a movement 9 blitzer, but he died. But there are still 2 movement 8 blitzers, I think. So it's a surprisingly fast Dark Elf team.
That sounds amazing, actually.
Yeah. It took a couple of really rough weeks and a lot of damage to bring it a little more in line with reality. But at the start of the season, it was disgusting.
Man, my secondary team is Dark Elves, and I can never get them that far along while healthy.
Oh, it's hard. And in the last one this week, we had Louis Schwano's Arkeepa, Nurglers, REBBL, and Hull's the Greeny Weenies. I predicted the Nurgle, and Shadorra predicted the Orcs. So there's our swing vote there.
Checkmate, Shadorra.
I know, right? This was a big one. It was hard to choose at the end because it's a really good orc team and they have a lot of guard. But I feel like the Nurgle did Nurgle things with 16 armor breaks.
It's just one of those things where if Claw goes off, the orcs, there's not a ton they can do about it.
Yeah, and if it doesn't go off, then there's not a ton the Nurgle can do because they just get out guarded and kind of bullied. Despite being a punch team, it's so hard to get a lot of guard on Nurgle compared to something like orcs.
Well, and the armor 9 versus armor 8 can be big over the course of the game.
Yeah, if Claw doesn't fire.
Once you lose all your rotters to the piling on blitzer, all of a sudden you're not looking so hot.
Yeah, like in my my game this week, where I ended the game with 1 rotter on the field because I had to start putting I had to start putting Nurgle Warriors and Pestigores and stuff on the LOS, and I literally finished the game with 1 player on the field against Atomics. It was rough. We'll see that.
I watched that whole game actually, because I wanted to see you both murder each other, but
didn't really work out. No. Another death off of 4 casualties and 6 KOs sustained by the orcs. But I think the story of this game is right here in the KO successes. 8 failed KO rolls. I mean, there were 6 success KO rolls, but I mean, if those when there are 8 failures, and a total of 6 KOs sustained, including 6 successes. Right, so there are only 6 KOs sustained, and there were 14 KO attempts. Means that there were several failures at the beginning.
Only 20 blocks for the orcs seems way low. Like something weird must have happened.
I was thinking about watching this one because it was the contentious pick, and I sort of skipped through the turns really fast, and the Nurgle just sort of made all of the orcs go into the KO box, and then there weren't any orcs to do anything, and then all the KOs failed.
So the game was just over.
By the time the orcs came back, it was already over.
I see.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. There were 6 successful KO rolls.
Who had the TV advantage in that game? Was it the Nurgle? You
I think
can't
so.
get it from this screen.
No, it's kind of annoying that way. See, the orcs are. I think it was the Nurgle.
Oh, it's not a big deal.
It was the Nurgle, but not by very much, if I recall correctly. Like, it wouldn't have been a whole lot.
Nothing major.
No, because the orcs have like a lot of stats and guard and stuff. Like, they're pretty high level. Like, they're 1800-ish orcs. So.
Oh yeah, 1870 for the Nurgle. That's pretty solid looking.
It does. The dice log is dumb. The dice log is awful, and it's hard to see results from. This is the leaderboard at the end of that for REL 2A. Fellow Squadadel has grabbed first with their 5-1-1 record currently. But we have Stouticus and Luis, both only 1 win behind, and then we have Ersk Cleric and Queen Elizabeth. So that's the Lizards, Brets, and Dark Elves, only 2 wins off. And this is Div 2, so there are 3 playoff spots and then 1 Challengers Cup spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people in the hunt right now.
Yeah, Not for Science is very likely going at this point. But there are all the way down to Holes, sort of in 8th place. Are all within like 2 wins of the top player right now. So it's pretty likely that there's a lot of players in hunt for those 3 playoff spots. My name is Sir Kodiak.
I'd like to see Caloric go, of course, because
me too. The Vamps, the Rats, despite having a good rat, are not having the greatest run with 1 win, 2 draws, and 4 losses so far. But they keep getting like beaten into the earth, which makes winning difficult. And
they're just in that death spiral mode, basically.
Yeah, not like it's not that terrible, but I mean, like they're basically like they've got 2 movement 10 gutter runners and nothing else is like the whole team. Right, like they're 11.
That's just hard. It's hard to win games, even with the 1-turners. They're
1170 right now and have 2 movement 10 gutter runners. Like it's not the greatest position. So it's hard. They have those, and they can often squeak out like draws and stuff with them, but it can be hard to win. So
he's probably just looking to preserve them and move on to next season.
Yeah, keep those movement 10 around. We've seen what natural 1-turners can do, so keep them alive, and good things can happen. So I don't know if you want to participate in this game or not, but we often do predictions for the next week.
I'll try. I'll do my best for you, Shadorra.
I'll bind him to your predictions, so feel free to be as mean or not mean as you want. He gets to do it to me next week probably, so it's all fair. So first we have the Lackland Longtongues and the REBBL Cheese Thieves. So we're gonna have Urs and his lizards.
Yes, I remember the lizards.
And we have the REBBL Cheese Thieves, which are the rats. So they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 rats. So they'll get 2 line rats, another 100k is 1270. So they're gonna get like 400k versus these lizards.
You do not want to see Tail against your only gutter runner team. It's not ideal.
No, not particularly.
And he's got a tackle Mighty Blow.
Yeah, there's a tackle Mighty Blowsaurus to start chunking through the rats. He's got the Agi Skink. He's got a movement skink of his own.
Amazing skinks.
Diving tackle skink makes a difference too. I feel like I want to give it to the. I think I want to give it to the lizards myself.
Yeah, I think I would go with the lizards as well. The rat team is just too messed up.
Yeah, I mean they're going to get 400k, but which is pretty significant, right? They have a wizard, they have they can get Glart and that kind of thing, but I mean
they just can't protect the gutters though.
No, they can't.
They got
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, they've got this team is 2 players, right? It's Paneer and Abondance. Like they've got a good strip ball gutter runner, and they've got a movement 10 gutter runner, but you don't have any. You're not gonna. The lizards outstrength you so hard, like with no guard, no strength, no like block. Even the lizards are just gonna be like, here you go, have Saurus, and then like just try to hunt the gutter runners with their like.
And he doesn't have the agility. He doesn't have the pickup guy that you kind of need to get BS wins with the wizard when you're really down.
Yeah. So then we have Hornstars Mark 28 and the Battle Brothers of
Chaos versus Brets.
Yeah. So it's a big Chaos team. 2340 is huge.
Oh my god. With the Mino?
It's not. It's is there a Mino? No, there isn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's 2 Mighty Blow Block Claw Guard Stand Firm Nurgle Warriors. There's a Tentacles Nurgle Warrior. I mean there's Chaos Warriors. There's 2 Legend Killers. I mean, one of them is 308 SPP.
It's kind of bloaty though, having the double piling on guy.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many skills here. Like 4 guard, 1, 2, 3, 4 claw mighty blow. 1.
It's not that much guard though.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, not that much for a chaos team, I suppose.
I like all the wrestle. That's kind of cool.
4 wrestle. Yeah.
Yep.
Then there's the ball carrier and like the secondary ball carrier.
Yeah, both those guys are solid, but I do feel like this is a little bloaty. So he's playing against Caloric with the agility spam Brets.
Yep, who's also going to get 500k in inducements. So Griff
and a wizard.
Griff and a wizard are 100% on the table here.
Oh my god, 620.
620, is that what it is?
That's what minimum says.
620. So yeah, Griff, wizard, more stuff. I mean, he's gonna get punched, and that's gonna end. The mighty blow is gonna chunk through peasants. The blockers are gonna do things, but
Fend is actually good here.
Yeah, against the Pylon.
Yeah,
it's super entertaining. I feel like this is a game of blitzers, right? Like four blitzers and Griff just sort of like doing bullshitty elf things.
Yeah, because
I think that's gonna be hard for Ranimo to deal with. Like, it's a really good chaos team, but I think these Brets don't have to try to match you. Like, sometimes human teams will have to try to match other bash teams in like the bash game a little bit because they don't really have the sort of elfiness to just straight up pretend they're elves and ignore it. But Cleric can do that with 3 Agi 4 blitzers and the ability to get a wizard and Griff in this matchup.
He's only got 11 men though, which is a little rough.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to the Brets because I think it's funny that he gets that many inducements, and I want to see what he does with them. Really,
they're both kind of middle of the table, right?
Yes. So Cleric is currently in 5th, and Minemo's in 9th, but they're only 3 point. They're only 1 win apart. It's 3-2-2 as a record, and 2-2-3.
I think I'm gonna go with the chaos. Just pure skills overwhelming the 11-man team.
The really high TV is gonna be a problem, certainly.
Griff is cool though.
Abysmal Cusp and grungy desserts. So we're gonna have the Nurgle off here.
Oh.
So we've got Stouticus's Nurgle team. He's currently in 2nd with 4-3-0 record.
I know his team from REL 1 last season.
Yep. So there's we got the Beast of Nurgle. pretty standard. Then there's two claw mighty blow. There's the strength 5 tentacles. One thing that matters is he's out his ball hawk. He doesn't have sponge cake man for this game.
That guy's amazing.
Yeah, wrestle, tackle, strip ball, 2 heads, kick is out for this game. But we do have the Agi ball carrier. We have the movement 8 frenzy piece with frenzy juggernaut, couple dirty player, and a full team, 16 players.
Damn. Okay, and what about the other Nurgle?
Got Sir Kodiak, not 16 players. He's actually only got 12. And he's similar in TV somehow. I think that's almost entire. I think it's just entirely. So there's 2 reasons for that. One, the really good sacker is gone, and 2, the ex-wife. Yeah, block, movement, guard, stand firm. I mean, I feel like I've got to go. Even with the sacker out, I think I want to go Stouticus. I mean, the 16-man bench with no extra inducements being given is a pretty big deal in the Nurgle matchup. You have so many like ablative idiot rotters that you can throw at the 2 claw mighty blow that exist and just be like, cool, eat as many of these as you want while I kill your better players.
I agree. I think the bench is massive, and the ex-wife isn't that good in the mirror, even though she's awesome. Like she's like the best beast ever, but it's just not that big of a deal. The other team has a strength 5 warrior. They just kind of don't care.
Yeah. I think maybe Yaza Mucus is a better beast, but that's probably the only one.
Oh, I guess I meant living.
That's fair. That's fair.
Rest in peace, Yaza.
Who's so good. Forsaken Awoken and Rebel Rage Quit. So the Forsaken Awoken are the that Necro team that we watched.
Yes.
And Rebel Rage Quit is Orabi.
The chorfs.
Yep. So they're chorfs. They have where their 100% game plan is to block and foul and never try to pick up the ball.
Oh wow, interesting.
Well, I see you've never met Orabi before.
Maybe I've played him once. I seem to remember an army of piling on chorfs.
Yeah, I mean, so his chorfs are block, mighty blow, or it's mighty blow piling on, mighty blow piling on, claw, mighty blow piling on claw. There's a dirty player hobgoblin. There's a mighty blow bull centaur. There's only
one bull though.
Yeah, he's at the start of the season he had 2 bulls and both of them were block, mighty blow piling on, and he had like 3 dirty player hobgoblins. He currently only has 2.
He's got 12 players and no ball skills, like literal 0.
Well, he doesn't play the ball. he doesn't.
Even if he like pitch clears you, he doesn't like just go for the.
I mean,
score.
If he pitch clears you, he'll go for the score. But he has scored 1 touchdown in his last 4 games.
What? Oh my goodness.
Well, it's a Robbie. Like that's what he wants to do. He has fun, just like punching you, and that's what he wants to do.
Okay. So well, I guess I pick the other team then.
I mean,
whatever they are.
that's fair. I mean, I hate to put it that way, but I'm gonna do the same thing, and that's entirely for that. Forsaken Awoken, it's Necro.
The team we watched, yeah.
And he's gonna have a pretty easy time just movement 8 scoring and running away from the chorfs.
And he's got claw as well to fight back against armor 9. Yeah,
and there's only actually one claw mighty blow chorf because the other one died. So we have Welcome to the Dark Side versus Bioware for Life. This will be interesting.
Ooh, so Vamps versus
the Dark Elves, who are slightly less good than they were. Their Mighty Blow Blitzer is out for this one, but they still do have the 2 movement 8 blitzers. But there's a lot of blodge.
And another Mighty Blow.
There's a lot of blodge and 3 guard on this Dark Elf team.
Solid 10 elves there.
Yep, so they'll be at 1700 as a team.
Yep.
Dire Sick Fish is 1990, so it's 290. So Wizard. Here are the Vamps. They were missing one of these Strength 5 Vamps for that last game.
Wait, one of these?
Yep, there are 2 Strength 5 vampires.
Oh man, Strength on vampires is interesting because it's like they need skills so bad and they're already quite strong, but it's definitely
it's so hard to pass up strength, yeah. But they need those reliability skills, right? Block, dodge, etc.
Yeah, That's how you win.
Yep. He's got five vamps, 2 are strength 4. All of them are at least block. One of them is piling on, mighty blow, jump up, tackle.
Jump up over dodge again.
Well, he's agi 3 and he's piling on.
Oh yeah, okay. Another agi 3 jump up guy.
I mean, it's the big thing for me is that there are 2 tackle. They're both on vampires.
Oh wow, 5 rerolls and a bench. I like this vampire team.
It's a good vampire team. The problem is it's got 2 tackle on vampires, and it's going up against blodge dark elves. So like, they're gonna have to move thralls into position to try to knock stuff down so that they can, like, you know, when they blitz with their vampires, they have a snack. So like the positioning is gonna be rough. The mighty blow dauntless being out for the dark elves actually makes a really big difference, surprisingly.
Yeah, the dauntlesses would be huge.
The dauntless is huge, and the mighty blow is really good against the like thralls, just hunting them down. I feel like I want to go dark elf. Like, I love this vampire team, but I want to go dark elf just because I think it's going to be hard for the vampires to like actually do the things they need to do versus this dark elf team. You know, movement 8, just run away.
Interesting. The dark elves don't really have a super crazy ball carrier. I guess
they carry on Lord Voldemort, the sidestep, blodge plus movement sprint one.
Okay, the sprint guy. Yeah.
Or is he sure feet, not sprint? Yeah.
Interesting. I feel like this is a toss up, and it definitely depends on how the vampires dice go, because of course they can just epic fail at any moment.
Welcome to vampires.
Yeah.
Well,
I think I'm going to go with the vamps.
Sweet.
Because
I like it.
I like that team.
And we'll give Justin the vampires, or Shadorra the vampires. I like it. And we'll have, and then we have our Keepa Nurglers, REBBL, so the Nurgle team, one of the other Nurgle teams, versus the stupid High Elves that we just saw.
Yes. Oh god. So the stupid High Elves versus a Nurgle team who are sort of very well known for just like beating their opponents into the earth. This whole they don't have a crazy like kill team or anything. You know, they've got 3 claw mighty blow, which is pretty typical for Nurgle. It's not like it's built exclusively for murdering people. They've just had crazy removal dice all season, and like every match has been like pitch clears. Yeah, so they've got all these free rotters. That's how they got all Oh man, this team is okay. I'm definitely going to go with the elves here because
me too. Yeah.
We both know how it is to play Nurgle versus an elf team like that.
It sucks to play against as an elf team as Nurgle in general. Like, if you don't get the removals, you just lose. And with that one turner, and that strength 5, like they get to potato. You can't catch up because you have 4 players on your team that are like half the movement of the elf team. Even like your movement 6, he's movement 10. Enjoy. They just run behind you. You can't do anything. Then if they just carry on the strength 5 guy, suddenly you don't even have the free 2-die horns benefit a lot of the time. Sorry?
Yeah, and he'll have a wizard, but I don't think it'll be enough.
Wizard, like, I would almost just take bribes instead. Because he's... you're not going to be able to take advantage of a wizard, really, and he has 12 players. So you just start, like, fouling anybody who goes into the ground with bribes and see if you can make the elves not exist anymore and maybe get a shot at the...
I could see that.
Okay. That's probably what I would aim for.
Because you have to target the one turner. It's so important.
All right, so that's 2A. Now we can go on to our div.
Okay.
We'll look at what occurred last week quickly. So the Bad Apples versus Archangel's Will. This was an interesting one because it was the two like the elf off of the div. You know, Super Bowl champion of last season versus Super Bowl champion of 2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
it was a pretty big one. We both predicted the. So first of all, it's 1-0, which is not what you'd expect in this sort of elf off of a game.
There must have been some shenanigans.
And second of all, we predicted the Dark Elves would take it, and the Wood Elves took it. So there you go.
Yeah, it seems like Agrain used up all of his dice on his Super Bowl run or something. He hasn't been going too well.
No, not this season. I mean, it looks like the Elves just had the ball. There's similar number of blocks, but the Wood Elves just had the ball for way more of the game. but also getting KO'd again. 6 KOs, 2 casualties.
Yeah.
If we look at some of the recovery, perhaps they made all of their KO rolls, which certainly helps. So they're probably never actually down too many players. Like, I doubt that's all 5 at once. That's probably 2 after the half, 1 after the touchdown kind of thing. So they never. Really
I do often feel
players.
like Wood Elves have the elf edge in the elf matchup.
And he probably had Babes as well, because he would have gotten inducements here.
He's got like 3 players or something.
He's five, I think.
Yeah.
5 pass attempts, 4 of them working. Or 4 passes. Wait, 4 passes, 2 of them worked, but there were 4 catches. So
interesting.
I feel like this ball was like bouncing around a lot. This is kind of funny. I'm sort of sad that I didn't actually watch this game. I was thinking.
Yeah, maybe I'll go back and watch it. Seems interesting.
I was thinking about it. Pass block did a thing. Oh my god, was there an intercept? Oh, there was. There were 2 intercept attempts and one of them worked. Oh man.
Yeah.
I should have watched this game, man. But Ragedorf and or Travel Scrabble and Unseen Walker were like, you should watch my game. It was interesting, and it certainly was. But man, this game. If only I could watch 2. Oh, there's the lightning bolt that worked. This is so weird. Like, such high ball possession for one elf team means that it was in the elves' hands and they weren't scoring with it. So there could have been a lot of stalling, maybe. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. How did this end up 1-0? Somebody tell me what happened.
Ark is trying to explain in the chat.
Because the dice log is stupid. That's why. The dice log is really dumb, and it doesn't always.
Yeah.
It doesn't help. Like, you should probably just ignore the dice log. My favorite is when someone has a chainsaw, and there's a chainsaw roll on both sides, because the 2+ you have to make is. I don't remember how it works. It's like, if it depends on who like hits. Even if you hit the chainsaw versus if the chainsaw tries to like chainsaw you, the chainsaw roll can be attributed to either side on the dice log, and it just makes no sense. Scooby and the Gang versus Ragedorf we watched. Gotta Catch 'Em All and Rowdy Rebel Rousers. We predicted that Atomics would win this, and it was a tie, so no points anywhere.
Classic Steakmittens Nurgle tie maneuver.
I know, right? I don't really know how this happened. I really feel Atomics probably should have won, and I think he didn't play aggressive enough.
It was a close match. I watched the whole thing, but now I don't quite recall all the details.
It's hard to comment on my own games, but like, so 20. I got 21 armor breaks. He got 15 armor breaks. Guess who got pitch cleared? Me. Right? Like, it's. Yeah. So I inflicted 4 KOs and 1 casualty. The casualty got better. And one of those KOs was a turn 16 piling on.
Oh, yeah. I remember everything now. You were looking like solid in the first half because he was failing a few blocks and stuff, but then all of a sudden you had no team in the second half.
Yeah, so in the first half, I got a bunch of lucky stuns. I got a lot of stuns, like a ton of stuns, and he was not getting good block dice. So
yeah,
he kept just pushing
he was pushing
around.
Everyone.
So I was able to lock up a whole bunch of his team and then kind of potato by and get my ball in a good safe spot where I could score on just sort of turn 8, and there was not much he could really do about it. But I wasn't getting removals really, and like he slowly started getting them as the block dice sort of turned around, and then in half 2 he just ground my face into the earth. I ended the game with 1 rotter. All right, he scored on his turn 16, so I had 1 turn, but I had 1 rotter on his turn 16. Like, I set up for defense with like 6 players or something. It was a problem, especially since my beast was MNG'd for this, so I was missing a beast, which didn't help. Pretty
solid draw then, all things considered.
Yeah, at one point, I think honestly, like, I don't want to be like mean about it or anything, but I think it probably should have been a win for him, and there was a few things that he let me do that he probably shouldn't have.
And not just scoring faster or something.
Well, he could have scored faster in half 2, like, considering that I didn't have much of a team. He could have been way more aggressive, and he just kept punching me instead of like running forward. And there was also a time where he left, like, my 2 heads ball carrier was on the field, one of the players that was still around, and I had a wizard, and he left me in a position where that player had to make 1 2+ dodge after I lightning bolted his ball carrier to like get to the ball. So I lightning bolted the ball carrier, did my like 2+ dodge, 2+ GFI, 2+ or 3+ pickup, and got the ball. And then tried to like just punt it, and the punt didn't work very well. But if that punt worked better, he could have just lost the game because he wouldn't have been able to get to it. But it was so like I feel like it shouldn't have been a tie, but I think I played it really well to make it a tie anyway. So we'll take it.
Well, classic Nurgling.
Yeah, pretty much. Then we have the Charlestown Chiefs versus the Greenskin Brawlers. So we predicted the Orcs to take this one, and that worked out for us. So the Orcs did take it. I'll add to my score tally here.
Quite a few armor break advantage.
Yeah, 18 to 4. 5 casualties, including a death, and 4 KOs sustained for the Lizards. 1 KO for the Orcs. Yeah, that's the Orcs bullying the Lizards into the ground.
62 blocks is a number.
It is a number. It's a number that exists. But these Orcs are just like, there's so much. They're the most standard Orc team in the universe. Like block guard, mighty blow everywhere. And if the removals roll on and they just get their big advantage, it just makes it worse and worse and worse and worse, and they just grind you into the earth.
He probably has a lot of tackle as well because of the nature of Orcs.
I would like to point out that Sorek, the Orc, got 10 SPP, and that wasn't the guy who got MVP.
Solid work.
He got 5 casualties on his own, I think, is what happened there. Yeah, 5 casualties for that one guy.
Wow.
Oh, the death was Slibley? Okay, so that doesn't really matter then. But yeah, the Lizards were down. We're going to be down some Lizards for this one, like down some Saurus. Against a guard spam Orc team is just not great, really. Fear and Bloating versus the name that Shadorra will make fun of me for, but he's not here, so Conspiration Entropique. Did my best.
This was an interesting game that we played. It was kind of similar to what you were just describing in your game, where he had a reasonable chance to draw, but just kept punching me instead.
Oh, fair enough. We predicted that he would actually take this one, so that worked out.
It was super close. I definitely I was feeling some pressure. I think this was like one of my most important games because he's in first place, and and this is like my last Chaos Bashy mirror match of the season. Yeah. See how many fewer blocks I got than him?
27 to 43. 6 KOs sustained, 4 casualties, 5 KOs, 4 casualties. So like similar number of like kind of removals, I guess, despite the lower number.
He
of
killed
blocks.
my killer.
Oof. One succeeded regen, 2 failures, 3 failed foul appearances, 1 failed tentacles.
Yeah.
I think the big thing for this is that we often predict, like in the Nurgle versus Chaos matchup, where the Nurgle are like similar TV to the Chaos, the Nurgle just have a bit of an advantage from like.
Well, a huge thing happened. He tried to surf a Nurgle warrior with his Minotaur on turn 3, and it failed. And then I killed the Minotaur, or cased him.
Oh, you said killed. It's like is he dead? Because that'd be so sad.
No,
that Minotaur.
He was dead for the game.
Okay. And that's really all that matters when you play Nurgle. If he's gone for the game, you're happy enough.
It was huge, and like from that point on, I had quite a decent advantage.
Yeah, that's such a big chunk of Tessa's team. It makes a huge difference to have him out. He's really annoying. Like it's another claw, mighty blow, the Juggernaut, and all that kind of stuff. He's rough.
And tentacles.
Yeah, it's not nice when other teams have tentacles. That's not fair. That's our thing.
Hell's Gate got MVP because he's still trying to be a legend.
Trying to. You got Dirty Player.
All right, then we got Fogmire Fenbeast.
Yeah, and Cheese. So Fogmire Fenbeast is a lizard team that doesn't exist anymore in terms of how many players it has, and Cheese is Cheese. I think this had already happened when we went to do predictions. Yes. So we didn't have a prediction here because this had already happened, I believe. Yes. So, but we can look at it now.
It was like Loner Skink Army, right? I think I watched a bit of this.
Yeah, so 10 armor breaks versus 8 armor breaks. 2-0, 36 blocks, 32 blocks. So, I bet you anything that what happened here is that the fact that Cheese's team is niggled to space just made it so that they were more likely to be removed than the Lizards, and the Lizards were able to get player advantages against the Orcs. Because 4 casualties sustained by Cheese implies to me that, you know, there was some removals, and that many versus a team that's probably gonna have to use Mighty Blow to get through the armor rather than the injury is
yeah. When you have an army of loner skinks, it kind of lets you play in a more aggressive way because you risk them. Yeah.
Made his one loner attempt when he tried to.
That was probably like a catch on a skink or something.
Yeah, got all his KOs back, but there were only 2. Cheese had really bad KO rolls, 2 successes, 5 failures, and some of those are on turn 16, as we've learned that the KO roll is dumb. So the the Lizards getting a player advantage and just keeping it certainly means that the Orcs are going to have a hard time there. I remember Cheese being pretty salty about this one in REL chat, actually.
Kind of the polar opposite of the other Lizard versus Orc game that happened.
Yeah, we had 1-2-1 Orc versus Lizards, and then 1-2-0 Lizards versus Orcs. So, one has to win, one has to lose. It's everything in balance. We had Thick, Rich, and Creamy versus Not an Anime Sports Team. We had predicted that I actually predicted the High Elves would win this, and Shadorra predicted that the Necro would win this, and they tied. So, of course, it doesn't affect our standings any. But 11 armor breaks, 5 armor breaks,
4 some passes.
4 casualties, 3 KOs, 4 casualties sustained for the Elves, 2 casualties, 2 KOs sustained for the Necro. Elves also managing to throw a few passes there. I mean, I feel like this was, Necro doing, punchy things to the Elves, but then the Elves could just still score because they're Elves, and they.
Yeah, I mean, with this amount of removals, I would think that the Elves would be winning this match.
You'd think. I'm interested to know sort of what happened there. Lightning Bolt worked.
That's a thing.
Certainly helps.
Sure.
The Necro had terrible going for it. It's 4 successes, 4 failures. 4 failed diving tackles.
Fake skill confirmed.
It seems that way, yeah. They made a couple, three passes attempts, 3 catch successes, presumably.
Probably some vanity passes, considering it only 1 touchdown.
Yeah, and only 12% ball possession, so I feel like they didn't actually have the ball for that many turns, so it was probably a relatively quick score when they did score. But not able to convert that into a 2-1, or perhaps the Necro were able to defend the second touchdown attempt.
It seems to me like probably a 1-0 grind where the Necro had the ball the entire game and the Elves just did a 2-turn.
Yeah. That seems probably reasonable.
And I guess the Wizard probably was used to stop the 2-1 Necro victory, most likely.
That would make sense. Yeah, preventing the 2-1 grind sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So after that, we have the leaderboard that looks like this in REL 1.
Scrabble, you jerk.
No games have actually been played this week, right? No. So this is up to date. Yeah, so we've got Travel Scrabble and the Red Joker who's with me here. Tied in first. Same number of points, but presumably that's like a TD differential or something. I wonder what it shows on rebel.net.
Because we use different tiebreakers.
Yeah, the tiebreakers are different in reality to what they are in.
That kept me out of the playoffs in my first season, I think.
I made minors playoffs with a touchdown differential of -1 in my minors. And it was strange. It was a situation where I needed the last match of the season to end in a tie. If it wasn't a tie, if either team won, I wouldn't go. because of how tiebreakers worked out at the end, and then the teams tied. I was like, okay, I guess this is what's happening. It's destiny. Rebel.net actually hasn't updated with the Travel Scrabble game, apparently.
Oh, okay.
So,
well, anywho.
Yeah, so first, tied for first there, but only 1 point behind is Tessa, and then Atomics, Archangel, me, Professor Chaos, Archixel, Strategic Cheese, all also on 3 wins.
Very close.
Yeah, all also on 3 wins. They're, that the point spread is pretty different there, because Cheese is at, I think, 9 points to your 14, because he has no draws in there. They're all losses. But it's still only one, like all the way down to 9th place is 1 win off of first place. I mean, even if Cheese had won that instead of lost, he would be 1 point behind first, right? So it's
right. I'm feeling
close.
Pretty good about my position. I have yet to play Cheese or the bottom 3, and then I've got to play Scrabble and Arc for that's my remaining schedule.
My remaining schedule is everybody below me. I have Archixel to play, I have Professor Chaos to play, I have Jimmy Burrito, Steer, Agrain, and Rolling Red are my remaining teams. So I've played everybody above me in the table, which I feel, and since I played everybody above me in the table and I'm only 1 win behind, I feel like that's a relatively good position to challenge for playoffs as well. So we'll see what happens.
It's super close for sure.
Yeah, a lot of everybody down to like 11th place is within 1 win of jumping up to 4th, right? It's like, so it's REL won things, man. Okay, well let's do these predictions. I've got a clan game I have to play in an hour, which kind of makes me sad because it's pretty late for me, but it's how it works.
Caffeine time.
Yeah, Greenskin Brawlers and the Bad Apples.
Okay, so we got the non-cheese orcs versus Agrain.
Yep. So it's the guard spam, pretty solid looking orc team. 2 tackle. One is, both of them are Mighty Blow. Versus the like 13 dodge player. Agrain.
Oh man, this is tough. Actually, this is really close. I think
it is. So what do the inducements look like? I think that actually makes a difference. It's a full team, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
17. 6, 7,
9, 10, 11, 12 players. 1750. So they're gonna get 240 versus the orcs. I don't know. I mean, so like league table wise, Agrain has certainly fallen behind this season to where he was last season. And Professor Chaos is like just always a solid orc coach.
These are both solid coaches. The Dark Elves have the Wizard, which is definitely a factor.
A lot of block, a lot of guard, a lot of Mighty Blow. I mean, Dark Elves are the armored elves with armor 8, but it turns out Mighty Blow spam still does things to armor 8. It's 4 Mighty Blow. The crazy amount of guard means that even though I feel like I'd be very surprised if it's not like a tie, honestly, because like the orcs for both players, it's going to be really hard for them to stop the other team, right? Like the orcs are going to be able to just grind up the field with 1,000,000 guard, and the Dark Elves are never going to be able to like get into their cage and like stop them. The only thing they can really do is screen, and that's not necessarily going to work as well as you'd like. When there's like the Agi 4, Strength 4 guy who can like blitz his way through screens and stuff. But the orcs don't have the tackle really to stop the Dark Elves. I think I'm gonna go orcs, sort of on the back of like momentum, as it were. Like the orcs have been doing a little bit better than the Dark Elves lately, but like you could flip a coin and I'd be happy with this, like the result, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Dark Elves. Agrain can't keep losing forever.
That's fair.
This seems like a reasonable game for him to start trying to turn it around.
Makes sense. So then we have Tessa and the Atomics, so the other Nurgle that isn't us.
Oh man, I'm gonna watch this one gleefully. Huh? Let's see.
So we've got 2080 Nurgle.
Atomics has just been smashing in the mirror matches this season, so we'll see if he can finish off the last one. He just like diced me out of the stadium.
Well, he's good. His team is good for that. He's got the strength multiple strength 5 or like the strength 4 Pestigore, the strength 5 Nurgle warrior, block beast of Nurgle. Like it looks pretty much like any other Nurgle team, but with a couple of strength thrown in. So when you get to those like mirror matches, they can outstrength you ever so slightly, and that can be such an issue sometimes because you're so evenly matched otherwise. This is
it's going to be super close. Very similar teams.
Yeah, they are very similar teams. Darwin existing is a thing. he is a Minotaur.
Yeah, if he doesn't die like he did against me, he can do a lot of work.
Okay, so what my opinion? So the Tessa's gonna get 180k.
He's only got 11 players.
Yeah, so what I was gonna say. So 11 players, the strength advantage for the Nurgle, and the fact that Nurgle have like the ever so slight like sort of regen foul appearance thing going for them.
Well, yeah, regen plus a 3-man bench is like a big player advantage.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it. Even though the Chaos get a wizard if they want one, I mean they can't do a whole lot with it. They do have the ball carrier, but Nurgle also have a good ball carrier for that. I feel like Nurgle are the way for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Atomics. He just has been excelling in these bash offs.
Yeah, I mean he's good at those, and I think his team. It could very easily go either way, like but yeah, it's a game of numbers here for us, and the numbers dictate that like on average, regen and the larger bench means he's more likely to have players and all that kind of thing. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Especially with these two teams, but it's
very dicey with all the claw mighty blow.
Yes, a slight edge, and that can spiral. Cheese and Rage Dwarf.
Ooh, salty match.
Yeah. So we've got once again. So Cheese, his team looks a lot smaller than it was, but that's because it's missing one of its legends in Canadian Cheddar for this match, and it's also missing Baby Swiss, so the one turn is off the table, and we're missing the thrower as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So another 2 line orcs puts him at 1750.
Okay.
And Rage Dwarf is at 1490. So Rage Dwarf gets a couple 100k against the orcs.
We got 5 guard here and a strength guy.
Five guard for Cheese. The dwarves have 5 guard.
Also,
5 guard. They both have 5 guard and plus strength. Rage Dwarf is up to their 2 Troll Slayer complement now, and that actually makes a difference for this.
Because there's a troll to slay, man.
It's true. Dauntless. Slay the troll. But also the Black Orcs. The strength 4. We can deal with that strength 4 with the Dauntless. Missing the Pylon Juggernaut guy, I think, is actually a really big deal for this. Movement 7.
He's got a second one.
He does, but that one's movement 5 instead of movement 7.
True.
And there's a bunch of niggles. Like, in a world without injuries, I feel like I would probably predict Cheese for this. Just because I think like the team on average, it's going to be able to strength the dwarves with a similar number of guard. Like it's going to just add up to little advantages. But the fact that there are like 5 niggles or whatever the number is, like Gruyere is, or actually the niggles are actually out, right? Like Canadian Cheddar is the niggled one. So
the Black Orc also is niggled, I think.
Yes. So there's a niggled Black Orc and there's a niggled Blitzer, and if either of those are gone, there's no more bench because he'll be at loners.
And there'll be a wizard in play that will be hitting the agility 4 guy like 100% of the time.
Yeah. This is not easy again, but then again, nothing's ever easy in REL 1, it seems.
I think I like the dwarves here.
I do too. And I think a lot of that is, there's the 1 or 2 niggles are going to make a difference. I'm calling it right now. So 2 things are going to happen in this match. The troll's going to get knocked over and Thick Skull's going to save him, and then either the Black Orc or the Blitzer are going to get permed, not like removed from the game because of the niggle. Like, these are 2 things that are happening in this game. And I'm calling them now. But I think if Canadian Cheddar was here, if that makes a difference. He's going to be missing. He's going to be not very much faster than the dwarves.
Yeah, that's a big bummer for the orcs.
He has 2 players that are actually faster than the orcs. Everybody else is just slow, and the dwarves have the thick skull and the block.
And the runners, the runners are fast-ish.
I think the dwarves are actually faster than the orcs here. No, that's not true. The runners don't have. They're both movement 6. So he has 2 movement 6. They both only have 2 movement 6. Never mind. They're the same speed. Okay, let's move on.
But the orcs don't want to be the same speed as a dwarf.
No, they really don't. And in another elf off, we have not an anime sports team in Archangel's Will.
This should be a great game.
It will be. I'm looking forward to this.
These are my 2 most feared opponents this season.
Yeah, I've only played one of them. We got a couple pending levels, so we don't get to view that. But assume that they're normals for the purposes of TV, I guess. So we'll have another 40k thrown onto there, and then. And then 2 more linemen, so it's another 100. So another 160k, so that puts them at 1580. And the Wood Elves are going to be at 2, 3, 5 players. So whatever 6 times 70k is.
And the High Elves only have 9, I believe.
Yeah, I think I counted that. So plus another 420. So the Elves are 1610. So the High Elves get inducements somehow? Did I just...
Can that be right?
So plus... yes. Assuming those 2 are normals, the High Elves get 10k. Right? If those 2 are normal skills, the High Elves are at 1600 and the Wood Elves are at 1610.
That's beautiful. It's even match. It's so rough for Arc though to have so many skillless players. It's just things can go south so fast. So many loners.
Yeah. I mean, Arch Excel has, he's got the full complement of players, but not a whole lot of crazy skills other than air gear, because his 2 crazy blitzers have both been replaced. And he's got the good lineman too, the movement 7 blodge guard step 1. But Archangel has got He Who Catches Unseen, Adrastia, and Savari, who are the only players the team needs.
The Tree Man is so bloaty in the Elf Mirror match.
Yeah, he doesn't really do a lot. I mean, Grab does a thing, I guess, in terms of trying to give you 1 turn potential, but
yeah,
that's about it. He can make you he can give you a pivot point to protect your players around a little bit, but for the most part, this is going to be a pretty big score off, I feel.
I think it's going to be hard for Arc.
Oh god, fire the tree. If you fire the tree, you will have 3 reasonable players. I mean, 4 players going into this next match, and then you won't have a tree for other bashy matchups coming up.
You should totally fire the tree, Arc, so that I don't have to play against the tree.
I'm the worst part about this is that I don't know what to do. There's an elf team with 5 players. I'm I don't know. This is hard. They might win.
I think the High Elves have an advantage, so I'm going to go with the High Elves.
Agi 5, Strength 4, Mighty Blow, Tackle. Just 2 tackle. Do the High Elves have any tackle? No.
Not really.
They do not. They have none. 1 Mighty Blow.
But they're gonna have one.
Maybe.
That catcher is 100% taking tackle, I think. Unless
oh
he
yeah,
rolls strength.
that's true.
Unless he rolls strength or edge.
Well, in the sake of having divisive picks for fun, I'm gonna take Archangel and the Wood Elves.
I don't think the advantage is that big.
No,
really.
neither do I. I think it's pretty close. And like, I don't know. Archangel always surprises me. I'm like, oh man, like a 4 elf team, what's he gonna do? And then he just annihilates people. I'm like, all right, okay, whatever.
Arc always wins. It is known.
Thick, Rich, and Creamy versus Scooby and the gang. So we've got the Necro mirror here. A lot of like sort of out of atypical matches here. There's so many like Nurgle and Orc and stuff in our division that when you see like the Necro mirror or the Elf mirror, it's weird.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it's travel Scrabbles. I mean, I feel like this it's gonna sound callous, but one of these Necro team is not like the other Necro team.
One has agility 5.
I mean, one has stats, like at all. So like Jimmy Burrito's team is fine. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, there's 2 really good wolves. There's a palm wolf. There's, you know, some good flesh golems. There's some guard. Travel Scrabble's Necro team has a strength 4 agi 4 wolf, an agi 5 wolf, a strength 4 wolf. Yeah, it's
rough. It's hard for Jimmy, though. I desperately hope he wins so that I can get past travel.
Fair enough. I mean, it's a mirror match. The team with the better team in a mirror match will probably win. Like, it turns out you can't really use specific advantages against the team that also has the same advantages. There's some things to that. You know,
Scrabble has a big edge, and we'll see if Jimmy can make it happen with the wizard and some dice.
Yeah, in any mirror match, the team with the bigger or better team generally is at an advantage, barring some shenanigans. When the matches are not mirrored, like you can use your I'm speedier than you, so I'll take advantage of that. But like, it doesn't matter when they're the same team. You have the same baseline to go from. Fogmire Fen Beasts versus me. I like me in this one. Weirdly enough, I've been predicting like against myself all season because I thought they would be harder matches. But I've played a lot of lizards against my Nurgle, considering I kind of came up through college and minors with Shadorra, who has played a lot of lizards. We played friendlies and stuff like so. I've played against a lot of lizards.
So you're confident? Yeah,
fairly confident in like knowing what I have to do. I am missing a Nurgle warrior for this one, which is annoying for the strength. But I have 4 Claw Mighty Blow, which lizards really dislike. So if I can get the removal train going, I'll probably just win this, I think. The problem is I don't have very much guard.
11 players.
Yeah, that's the other issue. 11 players, not very much guard, but enough. If the Claw Mighty Blow plan works, then
let's see the lizards.
The lizards are missing a lot of lizards, which is the issue. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's going to be 2 rookies. There's going to be 1 rookie Saurus, and he's missing a Saurus. So we only have 5 Saurus. There are 2 Blodge Saurus, which don't do a whole lot against my tackle guys.
The armor busted armor Saurus is amusing.
He's very fun. I like him. He's also movement busted. So the one terrifying thing that is the Agi Skink, right? If that Agi Skink can do things, then I'm in trouble, right? Movement 8 against Nurgle, Agi 4 stunty. There's only so much you can do against that if he just gets through the lines and scores. But I'm pretty so he's also only going to have 11 players, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8,
potential 9. Inducements.
So he's going to get 2 more skinks. So he's going to be at 1760, and I'm at 1870. So which is not Slibly, which is really the big thing. Like if he got Slibly, maybe I'd switch this. But without Slibly, I feel like I'm going to be, as long as if I remove like 1 or 2 Saurus, which I think is pretty likely with 4 Claw Mighty Blow, that his strength advantage just vanishes.
Yeah, this looks really hard for the lizards.
Certainly not impossible, especially because that Agi skink, and if he can do silly things early, then he might, then stuff can happen. But if I can get through that wall of Saurus, I can hunt skinks with pestigores all day, and make them sad. But we'll see. I mean, this is the first match this season that I've been like relatively confident in myself. If that makes you feel,
it's probably going to jinx you into the oblivion.
Absolutely, that's what I'm thinking. Right? Like I've predicted against myself every match. Now that I actually feel relatively confident, I'm just going to get annihilated, and that's what's gonna. So really, I should predict against myself. But that's how.
That's Blood Bowl.
I know, right? So do you feel the same way, or do you want to go with the lizards?
Yeah, no, I'm going with the Nurgs, and then we have an identical match for me.
Yeah, Fear and Bloating versus the Charlestown Chiefs. So like it's a little bit different in that it's a slightly bigger Nurgle team. Although the Charlestown Chiefs aren't in the best of positions either.
He'll have Slibley against me, I think.
7. He's got the full complement of Saurus, but 3 of them don't have block, which is certainly an issue.
One's armor 8.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
9. So another 2 players, which will put him at 1670 against your 2050. So that's definitely Slibley. So he's gonna have the strength to put up a fight. Certainly, he's gonna have 8 players that are strength 4 or higher. The problem is
I outguard him a lot.
Yeah, that's the big one for me, is that so he's going to have a lot of strength on you, but with 2 guard, 3 guard, 4 guard, 4 guard. We've got the Gishmalgors as well, who can on a blitz, he's strength 5 because of horns. Can do stuff to Saurus. The fact that 3 of those high strength don't have block, and then the same sort of plan applies. There's 4 Claw Mighty Blow. We're pretty likely to remove a Saurus or 2, and if we do so, then suddenly he doesn't have as much strength, and it can spiral really fast. If he doesn't,
I'm a Pestigore short right now because of my death, and I'm trying to decide if I'm buying a replacement for this match or potentially waiting, or I'm not sure.
Yeah, you have the money, so you could grab one. Would he?
I probably will.
Yeah, you could either grab one,
blow me out,
or you could. He's gonna get Slibley anyway, and it can't get that much worse after Slibley. Yeah. So you could do that. The problem is the rookie Pestigore is gonna be like pretty useless against lizards. But you don't really want to burn 20k for nothing when you can just afford a Pestigore now, though.
Indeed. So
yeah,
we'll see. But similar thoughts to yours, where Nurgle just inherently have the edge against busted up lizards.
Yeah, he's got not a whole lot. It's going to be pretty easy for you to get initial blocks because of Guard and his lack of block. Once you get rid of 1, maybe 2 Saurus, it just spirals, right? You can start tying.
Especially if it's a good Saurus, then that hurts so much. Like if it's one of the guards, it's just rough.
Yeah, you can start just tying them up. They can't do as much anymore. You get a player advantage. And removals on lizards are worth so much more against removals on other players, because on average their players are so specialized and they're so good that if you it's almost more than just one player to get rid of the Saurus.
He can't protect his his skink either.
No, not very well. So I'm going to predict you. I feel you probably feel confident about yourself as well.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, same as yours. It's not a sure thing, but
it's always scary. You never know. Okay. Well, that has been us. Thanks, everybody, so much for hanging out in this special edition of Div Review, where we have a not Shadorra. We have a red Joker with me. Appreciate everybody for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. I won't be back next week. I'm leaving on a business trip on all next week. I'm going to be gone, so I won't be able to stream from where I am or even touch Blood Bowl, unfortunately. Shadorra might try to co-opt somebody else's stream to talk about things, but I think that's on him. So I'm unsure about the status of next week's Div Review. Just pay attention to what Shadorra says. basically, for whether there is going to be one or not. But I can't really tell you ahead of time.
I guess I could, Ark. I'll talk to Shadorra and we'll see.
If you're interested, I'm sure he would love it, and that would make it nice and even with the predictions. You get to be me for a week.
I can sabotage your picks.
Yeah, you get to be me for a week and him for a week. Thanks for being on. Appreciate it.
Good luck in your game.
Thank you, and thanks to all of you for watching. Until next week, hopefully, maybe not. Definitely not for me. But I've been Steakmittens, and he's been the Red Joker, and we will see you guys next time.